Tolu Smith here. Make sure y'all subscribe to my boy Downtown Deuce ASAP. Come on, man.
Destination restoration. Destination restoration. Destination restoration. Destination restoration. It's our time. Can you feel the elevation? We on a mission on vacation. Time to create that separation. Championships and motivation. 313 need no explanation. Miss me with all that conversation. We ready for that confrontation. Counting down to our destination. The final destination. Together all the time together. It's us against the world, it don't get no better. We turned it around, that was the beginning. Coming for the crown, you know we winning. Time to put in the work, I'm about to go berserk. Taking our prisoners, it's my time. Yeah, I know that it hurts. Say break out the church, you don't wanna see me in my prime. The mission is to ring, we're caught in everything. In the city, supporting the dream. Mission who I never seen, we deserve to be king. It's all or nothing, no in between. The clock is ticking and I hope you're listening. Don't touch me cause I'm sizzling. Physicality is tipping and mentality is menacing. The dog pound body's crippling. Now the clock is ticking and I hope you're listening. Don't touch me cause I'm sizzling. Physicality is tipping and mentality is menacing. The dog pound body's crippling. Yeah, feel the elevation. We on a mission on vacation. Time to create that separation. Championships and motivation. 313 need no explanation. Miss me with all that conversation. We ready for that confrontation. Counting down to our destination. The final destination.
Detroit basketball. What up, though? Welcome back to another episode of the Downtown Deuce Show with the boss. Hope everybody's week is off to a good start so far. Boss, how about you? How you feeling over there?
I feel good. It was a very busy day. Very busy day. My emotions a little bit all over the place. Good and bad, but I'm so happy we swept the Nuggets. What a great win. I loved this game, honestly. So yeah, I feel good now. I feel good.
You feel good? Yeah, I feel good too. Chat, let us know how you guys are feeling, man. Because this was definitely a entertaining game for sure. Got a little close down the stretch, but they pulled it out. They've shown why they are the number one team as far as win percentage when it comes to winning close games again. So
Yes.
got to give them credit for that. Boss, before we get into anything, do you want to get to your PSA that we usually get into or haven't getting into lately?
Yeah, guys. So if you were here on the 1st on Sunday, we announced that we are doing another fundraiser for the month of February. Half of all super chats will be donated to the Isaiah Stewart Learning Center. It's an after-school program that's free for ages grades 1 through 12. And they just help with tutoring and homework, provide meals, transportation, just enrichment. It was a big part of, it's co-founded by Isaiah Stewart and then Dr. Bernice Green Sr., who had the program when Stu was growing up, and he credits it a lot. So it's just a very great program. And we have only 11 games this month with the All-Star break. So I thought it'd be another great time to do that. So any super chats, half of super chats will be going to that. And then also we'll put a link in the caption. If you guys want to donate directly, just let me know so we can give you credit for that, shout you out. So just another way to give back for Black History Month and for Valentine's Day, and just another shortened month. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. You guys really showed out last time we did it, and you guys are already showing out this month already for this one. So we definitely want to give credit to Stu and his organization and his family for what they do for us for sure. Like we always say, we try to support those who support others. So got to do that for sure. So boss, like you said, a lot to get to tonight. Jam-packed show for you guys. Going to try to keep this as efficient as we can. We'll cover a few things before we get into this game and then a few things after we get into this game. So before we get into this game, boss, the good news keeps coming in for Jalen Duren. Shannon reported today that the Pistons' newest All-Star, JD, is going to participate in the 2026 NBA Slam Dunk contest. As of right now, I think the 3 contestants are the Lakers' Jackson Hayes and the Spurs' Carter Bryant. I think JD has the edge if those are the only 3 contestants. It's probably going to be more. But from those 3, I think JD is the most athletic. He's got the highest vert, tallest vert. He's got long arms. And I've watched those other 2 guys. They're solid leapers, but I think JD is the most athletic and acrobatic of those 3. So should be interesting.
Yeah. And what's exciting about it is I don't know how many times before we've had a guy who's participating in the actual All-Star game and the dunk contest. Usually, it's like the ones I can remember is like McClung, who's been in the G League forever, and kind of like, it's been, Jackson Hayes is there, but he's nowhere near an All-Star, So I'm excited. I'm really curious to see what he comes up with, the creativity aspect. And I think he'll have fun with it. So even if, I saw some comments today, just from NBA fans in general, just saying that they're excited. They're like, oh, I'm actually going to watch now, because it is an all-star doing that. So shout out to him. And I'm excited about it. I was unexpected. So
yeah. You made a good point about actually playing in the game and also being involved in All-Star weekend. I think we haven't seen that in a while. It's been a long time. I got to actually go back and remember maybe Grant Hill, because
Drummond,
maybe Chauncey, because Drummond played. I think he was in the dunk contest, but I don't think he was in the All-Star game that year.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if it was the same year. It may have been. You got.
It was
check that later, but
maybe. But
yeah. But either way, it's good to have great representation as always with JD for sure, and Cade and Coach Bickerstaff. So gotta love it. Also, we got some more good news today as far as our guys. So guys, we found out today also that Asar Thompson, guys, has been named the Eastern Conference Defensive Player of the Month. You see his numbers there. First of all, you see who he's up there with.
Yeah.
That's just a lot in itself. Wemby is, we know what he does defensively just because of his natural ability and size. But Asar, what he's doing this year is incredible. First in steals, 2.5 a game. 5th in deflections in the East at 4.2. And Detroit is number 1 in NBA in defensive rating at 104.8. And he is a big part of that. So definitely want to give him credit for what he's done this year. He's got great numbers across the board as far as defensive rating and different situations and guarding the best player. So to have those numbers while guarding the best player every night is extremely impressive. Any thoughts on Asar?
Yeah, I mean, and also, comparing it, him and Wemby are different defensively, but Asar is, beating him by 0.2 in steals. I mean, just really cool to see, because I know that even on this show, we've been a little bit critical of like his foul trouble, stuff like that. So it's a nice way to humble ourselves too, of like, we get critical on him for stuff like that because he is so good. So it was just really cool to see. I'm excited for him. I think Amen commented Depoy on one of the things as well, which is a huge thing from your brother, who's also probably in Depoy running. So
for sure.
Just super excited for Asar. He deserves it.
It's crazy to have 2 guys on this team who are legit All-NBA candidates. Probably going to make an All-NBA team, both of them, and candidates for DPOY, both of them. That says a lot about your defense, for sure. Yeah. So wanted to highlight that. Did you guys know the last time that the Pistons had 2 guys who were Defensive Player of the Month back-to-back? Never.
No.
It's never happened before.
Crazy.
So this marks the first time that we have back-to-back Pistons who have won Defensive Player of the Month. So once again, it just shows what this team's culture is, what they're built on. And they have guys on this team who can embody that in Asar and Stu and a lot of other guys. But those guys definitely have led the charge, man. They've led the charge this year. So I got to give them a lot of credit for that. Happy for them. Happy for this team, for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
So, boss, let's get to this game, man, shall we?
Yeah. There's a super chat from Dom.
Oh, let's get to it. My bad. Dom missed you. I got you. Let's see what he got to say. Dom says, appreciate you, Brody. Says, honestly, it has to be tough mentally for Ivy to watch this team have that success without him last year, just to have the knee setback this year. Some may not like it, but it might be best for his career to get a fresh start. Bro, I think all of those points are valid and fair. We're going to talk about J.I. in depth later for sure, in depth. But I do think that, at least for his sake, the silver lining is he gets a fresh start where he's not coming back to a situation where he feels left behind, and he can get an opportunity to play more, right? To make mistakes and to really just make sure that he's on his right path and is growing properly and have the opportunity, more important than anything. So for that much, I'm happy for him. But definitely, Dom, I agree with you there for sure. It is what it is. Sometimes circumstances just kind of can dictate situations, unfortunately, and it seems like that was the case for him. So we'll get to him later for sure, but I do think all those points are valid, Dom. Appreciate you as always. Any thoughts on that, boss?
Yeah, same. I agree. It's definitely bittersweet. We'll talk more about it later. There's obviously plus and negatives. You guys know that Deuce and I really love Ivy, so we're sending him a ton of love. But
Yep.
yeah, stay around and join the conversation later because we want to hear all perspectives because it's
Yep.
the first big move in a while for
Yep.
Detroit, you know? So
Yep, for sure. And Dom always showing love, bro. As Sean
Mhm.
pointed out. So we appreciate you as always. And all you guys, man. We appreciate all you guys.
Mhm.
All right, boss. Let's get to this game, man. And then we'll come back to some more stuff later. So guys, tonight the Pistons took on the Denver Nuggets in their second matchup of the year. And guys, they sweep the season series.
Oh,
Sweep the season series. I can't remember the last time that's happened, but it has to have been a while. But they beat them 124 to 121 to improve to 37-12 on the regular season. 37-12 on the regular season. As far as the injury report, Karis LeVert, guys. Karis LeVert returned after a 7-game absence. And
Ooh.
it comes right after Jaden Ivey gets traded. And we will get to that later as well. And on the Nuggets side, boss, they were missing Aaron Gordon and Cam Johnson, two guys who I know you are very familiar with, right?
Yes, and they had Christian Brown upgraded for the first time. He started the season pretty injured. I think he played a couple games, got injured, came back a little too early, spent another week. He hasn't played a lot of games, so this was his first game back as well. And I know there were a lot of people last week who were like, I just want to face a full strength Nuggets team, and this is pretty close. I mean, Cam Johnson and Aaron Gordon are starters, but compared to what we did last week with no Jokic, no Christian Brown, this was definitely another different kind of challenge for them. So I'm glad that we got to face off against those two players and that we beat the team.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to play who's in front of you. Would be nice to see everybody, but, still got to get a dub. It would have been bad if we came out of these two games saying, man, they didn't even have their guys and we still couldn't win. That was the alternative. So at least we were able to get wins and show that we are amongst, the top teams in the league, as we know we are. So guys, we are going to get things started with the poll of who gets the belt. So we're going to throw that up now, and we're going to let you guys have at that. And while you guys are doing that, let's get to some initial thoughts in this game, boss. So a lot to get to in this game. Go ahead and tee off on what you saw and what stood out to you.
Man, well, what really stood out to me was that transition defense. We did so good at getting back in transition and rotating and finding guys. There were very few times that someone was left open. So that I just super appreciated watching. This was the first, when I was at the game last time, I got to see it up close, but you're taking a lot more when you get to watch it on TV. So it was really cool to see. We just really outplayed them. We did a really good job about shutting down. I like the defense in general. I thought it was great. Yes, we let the lead go late. The Nuggets are a comeback team. So the point that sticks out to me is that both times that they came back, we still, didn't let them. I think that the Pistons, I had to listen to the Denver announcer since it's a local, since it's a Nuggets game, it's local, so everything else is blacked out for me. So I like the Denver announcers. Some of you didn't know, one of them is Scott Hastings, who won, who's on the Pistons during the 89-90 championship year. So he has a lot of love for Detroit. They started the game off by telling everybody how great the Detroit media room is, how great the food is.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Cool. He kept calling JB Bernie, which was cracking me up. But that's JB's dad, Bernie Bickerstaff. But I loved the way we played towards the end. That's just what the Nuggets do, and we held them. I just didn't love that foul on Cade at the end. I was like, don't give Murray the satisfaction. But we played them well. We got under their skin. I mean, Val got angry early. Jokic got angry early. I don't think Jokic is at 100% yet. This is only his third game back.
Yeah.
I don't think he's 100% yet, but we definitely outplayed them in almost every area, I would say.
Yeah, I agree with you. For me, I know we're first in the East, right? I know we have a better record right now than the Denver Nuggets, but I sense the respect for sure that the Pistons have for this team. This felt to me like a barometer game, like a measuring stick game for a young team who's growing and starting to, approach what they can be quicker than we thought. But it just felt like they came into this game very locked in. They were very focused. They wanted to win this game. It was definitely a physical game, for sure. But you could see they wanted to win it. They were focused. It was almost as if they knew they were playing against the best player in the world, against arguably the best team in the West, right? It just kind of seemed different as far as their intensity in the field. But I thought they did a good job. I thought they responded well. But when you think about it, they haven't really played before tonight. They hadn't played the Thunder or a healthy Nuggets team, or even close to healthy Nuggets team, right? So this is a big test for them. And they got it done, like you said, with their defense. They the Nuggets, they're not a high turnover team, as I'm sure you know. They
Yeah.
average 12 a game.
Mhm.
But the Pistons communication, man, and
So
their trust in their defensive rotations, boss, and their trust in each other, I think is what allowed them to hold them off. Because I think in the first half they held them to 32% overall, and they were up 19. So they really exerted their will, imposed their will on this team. But you could see they wanted to come get this game. They wanted to see how they looked against this team. So it was good to see that, the response.
absolutely, absolutely. I want to say hi to Tom.
What up, though?
Ben.
What's good, Tom?
Yes, and then Maddie Fresh as well from the
Maddie. What up, my dog?
Yes, he says great win against a great team. Definitely gonna miss Ivy a ton. Hope he shines out in Chi-Town. Same, Maddie.
Yep.
Same. Stick around, Maddie. Come talk to us later.
Stick around, bro.
Because we'd love to give everyone's perspectives.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much
you.
for the donation and the super chat. So
Always.
but yes, I completely agree. And it is pretty much like last year in the playoffs, the Nuggets didn't even have Aaron Gordon, and Cam Johnson still was finding his footing. So it was basically, last year's team. And the Nuggets are even still in the kind of trade talks with a couple of their guys, because they have a couple guys that also are on two ways, like Spencer Jones, that they might try to throw in. So it's going to be interesting how tomorrow and Thursday morning play out for the rest of the league.
Yeah.
While we were in the game, guys, I do just want to mention that it was finalized that Harden is going to the Cavs.
That's crazy.
Harden's going to the Cavs.
Yeah,
I
heard
think
about that too.
it's going to be a little tough because Harden can throw a lob. They've got big guys in the Cavs. But for me, all I see is Mitchell and Harden hogfest. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? That's what I thought too. And it very well may be that.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing with him and Chris Paul though in Houston, and that actually worked out pretty well, surprisingly. I'm not saying Donovan is Chris Paul as far as IQ and knowing how to play off guys, because you see him and DG really didn't play off each other great. So to your point, it's going to be interesting to see how these two guys mesh together. But it tells me that they're kind of accelerating on their window. They're like, we got to go win now.
A couple
guys are not as right. I think this is Mitchell's 7th or 8th or 9th year already, so they're trying to get something done while he's in his prime.
Yes.
Right. So I understand it.
The East is getting a little tougher. We'll talk about it later too, but I just want to mention that just because it happened during the game. So I don't know if a lot of people caught up on that, but we'll talk about it. The Celtics made a move. Just some East teams made some moves to make a run at us. So
yeah. So for me, before we move on to our box scores, I was really pleased with the first half of this game. I really like what I saw. Didn't see too many lapses or too many lulls. The effort was there. So my question was one that we've asked pretty often, boss. Are they going to sustain it in the second half? Right? Are they going to allow a veteran team like the Nuggets to kind of inch their way back into this game? And the Nuggets made a few runs. They made a couple runs in this game. They weren't really fast paced. They were just kind of just walking you down, trying to slow it up, trying to slow things down, trying to make the Pistons take the ball out of the hoop and they come down and get a good shot. Just things they were just trying to methodically just wear on the Pistons and slowly just sneak up on them is what I felt like. And the first time in the third quarter, the Pistons pretty much responded and took care of that pretty quickly. They pretty much got back on it and built the lead back up. But in the fourth quarter, they got kind of relaxed again. And that's when we saw the Nuggets kind of really be able to once again just chip away at it. And they got the lead down to 5-3 in the final minutes. So it was closer than it probably should have been. But you got to give credit to a Nuggets team who's a veteran squad who knows how to win. Right? You got to give them credit for that.
Again, they've been a comeback team. Slow starts are not new to them. Even the announcers were talking about that. Like they're used to slow starts. I've seen them come back. I'm definitely not someone who leaves with 3 minutes left in the fourth. The Nuggets can really do anything. So I think they're just adjusting right now to getting Jokic back, to getting Christian Brown back. They'll just go through a little bit. And they have a tough one. They just went to OKC. Then they have us. Then they have the Knicks. Then they have the Celtics. I don't wish that on anyone. They have the Knicks tomorrow, and I hope the Nuggets whoop the Knicks. That'd be so fun. So
I can see them bouncing back.
Same.
For sure. So, guys, we are going to get into some initial thoughts in a second, or some box scores in a second. But before we do that, we have to bring on our dog, Eric Vincent, guys. Clutch Points writer, reporter, beat reporter for the Detroit Pistons, is here with us. He is actually at LCE reporting live right now. We appreciate you taking the time, man. How you feeling out there, bro?
Life is good, man. Everything going good. Glad to be here with y'all, checking in on the post game. The fans wrapping up with their Little free throw shots at the end
Jump
to
shot.
close. And in good spirits, too. Great win for the team, 3 in a row. Everything moving in the right direction for him right now.
Yeah, man. We just did we went through our initial thoughts. Everybody show Eric some love, by the way. Drop some dubs, drop some fire emojis in the chat for our dog. You know what I'm saying? Top Tower Detroit. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the YouTube channel. The link will be in the description. By the way, shameless plug. Anyway,
Yes,
we just went through our initial thoughts, and then we're gonna get into a box score. So, anything you want to point out in this game that you saw, what stood out to you? We'll let you get it started for us, bro.
Very encouraging game. I mean, if you look at the box score, it looks like, Murray and Jokic kind of had their, I guess, like normal kind of games. But this didn't seem like a game where, really towards the end, where their numbers or their presence really was overwhelming the Pistons. They put on a lot of good runs, especially towards the end of the game. But we're seeing the true maturation of the Detroit Pistons, where they're able to go against teams late and kind of respond to adversity, respond to runs, respond to little hiccups here and there, and they don't buckle or back down. That's kind of what Asar talked about, for what they've been learning over these past couple seasons.
Yeah.
And like I said, with Jokic being back in, playing like an MVP, so many narratives about the dominant Western Conference, and Asar even said, like, we know who these teams are, we know what time it is, but we don't back down and we're not scared from anybody. So
Thanks.
I love the way the Pistons are competing. They got some more teams to kind of, check off their list, but a game like this was definitely huge to kind of sweep the season series against Denver, to have them healthy. Murray playing a little bit better than he did last game in terms of shooting, didn't miss a lot of free throws like last time. So this was a very encouraging win for him for sure on both ends of the floor.
Still getting fouled on threes, I see.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
crazy, right? But you
Phantom
make a good
fouls.
point about Jamal Murray, because the game plan was not focused on him tonight, right? Obviously, when
Right.
you're missing Joker, like we were the first time, it's going to look a little bit different as far as the defensive attention he's getting. So definitely think you make a great point there. Anything else for that, boss?
I just, I know, I agree. I was just saying how I don't think Jokic is at 100% yet since coming back. The Nuggets had a tough. They have OKC, then they have us. Tomorrow they have the Knicks. I hope they bounce back. But I'm glad to get the sweep against them. I thought it was funny. Did you guys see them doubling? The Nuggets were doubling Tobias because Tobias popped off.
Yeah.
How many times do we get to see a team double Tobias? I was like,
Crazy.
that's some respect, So they were, and the Nuggets are not good at defense. I mean, I had to watch the Nuggets feed because of a local channel, and they were talking about how the Nuggets defense was just atrocious. There was no excuses, except that they said that Jokic only got to the line once, but they shot like 43 free throws, I think, so they can cool it on Jokic foul talk. But yeah, they just basically said that their defense was atrocious. They were letting us get anything we wanted, so they took responsibility. At least that they saw the same things we did. So
Yeah, for sure. How much time do you have, bro? Because we were going to get into the box scores, and then we're going to go to JI. But I ain't trying to have them kicking you out up there, bro. So
I'm looking around, make sure security ain't pointing no flashlights at me. I got a few minutes.
We'll do this. Yeah.
I probably got to get out of here probably about like maybe 5-10 minutes. But I wanted to come in and chop in on the game and obviously some of the news that happened today. So felt like it was only right to come in and talk with the people for a little bit.
Of course, he acting like he asked. I asked him to come here. But look, we'll jump around, bro, just to make sure we get all your thoughts in. So
sure.
We'll come back to it later, boss. As far as the trade that went down today, obviously, Jaden Ivey, right? Jaden Ivey, he's on the move, headed to Chicago. In comes Herter, in comes Saric. Just what are your overall thoughts on the trade, and then what is your reaction to everyone's reaction of the trade?
Yeah, those are both two
Loaded
different
question
journeys of
for you.
conversation. No, it's cool.
Start the first part.
I want to say I'm surprised. There's some surprising elements to the deal. I'm not really surprised that they were, ending up coming to a conclusion to kind of just going their separate ways. Ivy just unfortunately just doesn't look like the same guy right now. I do think that they had the affordability to an extent to be patient with some of the skill set that he gave them as a shooter, and hopefully seeing some little bit of burst in this game come back. But, coming down to his contract, seeing an increase in production from guys like Dennis Jenkins, it kind of just made things a little bit more expendable in terms of his availability. Yeah. We saw it in terms of how games played out with him really not being used in a lot of fourth quarters. It was just unfortunate, man. I mean, for me personally, as a fan of him and knowing what his dream was of wanting to be here, we heard him on draft night say, "I don't want to play for any other team." And it's sad. Again, I'm definitely gonna be rooting for him, cheering for nothing but the best for him out in Chicago.
Yep.
In terms of people's reaction to the trade, I've said this from the beginning since last season. If people want something different, or if they think there's a better built guard for this team, I have no problem with that at all. I just feel like it's disingenuous to talk about his game, his regression, his change in production without talking about the injury.
Right.
That's the biggest problem I have with all this. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of media just literally talk about his game like he just woke up and forgot how to play basketball. His game changed because of an injury. 2, he had the snapped leg against Orlando last year, and then in the preseason dealing with another surgery. So 2 in less than a year. It's going to take a toll on somebody's game. And unfortunately, the Pistons were in a position where his game and that timeline just kind of became a little bit expendable. A lot of people talked about his body language and, things of that sort. To an extent, I don't really blame him. Like, he was playing some of the best basketball of his life, and just like that, things in the league that you can't really control just happen. And unfortunately, it took kind of a toll on him, and I can understand why they both kind of wanted to part ways. So, again, I'm praying for him. I'm hoping him and his family are in good spirits. Obviously, the Pistons are praying for him as well. Asar said, that's my dog. We love him for life. We know he's going to be great no matter where he goes. He had a great connection within this franchise. Regardless of what people see on social media, he had a great reputation within this franchise and within this fan base. So, again, I'm praying for J.I. I'm hoping he gets back on his feet because I definitely want to see him do well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you there. You got anything else on that, boss?
Agreed. I just have one more question if you're cool with it. What do you think of his return? Because that's kind of my issue with it. Is like I thought that with Ivy going, I was hoping for like we saw Vooch go to the Celtics today, and I immediately thought that's an upgrade. And with Ivy leaving and getting Herter, who's been off for a few years, and Saric, who's really been a non-factor. I saw him on the Nuggets a year ago, literally not get any minutes, even though he was supposed to be a backup for Yoke. That's I think what's disappointing me the most. Do you think that there might be another move? Like what do you think?
There's definitely another move. If I'm not mistaken, I think they have one too many. If the deal goes through, I think they have one too many roster players at the moment. So I think they do have to make another transaction sooner than later. I was very underwhelmed by it as well. I totally agree with you. I know Herter was a good shooter at a certain point. He can come good in stretches in terms of transition shooting. But, like, that production has dipped since, over the past several seasons.
And without an injury.
Exactly, right. So, again, I wasn't really blown away by it. It kind of, unfortunately, maybe showed what Ivy's value was. The fact that he was able to be dealt for guys like that and within the division as well kind of speaks for itself. I guess teams kind of understood where he was at, unfortunately, at this point. And Trajan just decided, hey, let's get this done quicker than later instead of waiting it out and seeing what comes down the pipe. Let's just take care of it now and kind of wipe our hands clean at this moment. So, yeah, I'm not really impressed by the package. I do think it's going to be another move on the horizon, but I can understand why they decided to kind of pull the trigger quicker than they did with the package in return.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. You think about a guy like Kevin Herter. He shoots career 37% from 3, but this year he's shooting 31%.
And the year before on the Kings, that's why he was traded.
Right.
I clowned my Bulls friends for that. So that's I think frustrating because I just heard criticism like, well, maybe he'll be good here. He's had 2 off seasons, but then I've heard that same stuff about Jaden having 1 off season. So I don't know. But
so
I do
would just
move too.
Go ahead. And so the fact that you say another move is coming is kind of reassuring. Just because I didn't really see the value coming back. You said the value going out, obviously, because we know what J.I. can be, right? But we know he's not there yet. And people right now, around the league, they don't really care about that. Everybody doesn't care on potential. They want to see what they can get. So it is just nice to hear that another move is possibly in the works for sure because, it just didn't feel like enough for me. So, yeah, that's all I really have, bro. I hope it works out for him, for Jaden long term. Definitely want to see him do well. Going to be a fan of his regardless. We have, his family a little bit, know his family a little bit. But just on the personal level, hope things work out for him for the best. He gets opportunity, gets time, right? Has patience, on his side. He can kind of move with that team and grow with that team. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, and I want to shout out to the Piston fans that were actually mature and responsible through this matter. Again, if you wanted something new, Cool. I have no problem with that at all. People treated us like the fanboys of him having to be here forever and he's got to get a max deal. Like, bro, it's the league. We know what the league is, but it's also fair and responsible to keep things in its proper context. Again, he didn't just wake up and forget how to play basketball. Like, things happened that changed within his career. And I'm not of the mindset that he was just some bust that never learned how to play basketball or just never good for this team. Like, the franchise spoke highly of him in his return. Hey, we didn't make a big splash this offseason because we're high on what Ivy can bring back this season. That's straight out of Trajan Laney's mouth. K was excited to have him back. JD was excited to have him back. All the guys were excited to have Ivy back. So shout out to all the Pistons fans that were mature and compassionate and reasonable about the situation, because for a guy like Ivy, again, due to circumstances, that's Jokic right there. Due to circumstances, yeah, that was crazy. He clean too. He got a nice little jacket on. That boy fly. Just knowing what the circumstances, knowing that he was, so excited about being here, watching him cry his eyes out at draft night, that was an important thing to see, especially knowing the legacy of Detroit, where people aren't excited to come here. A lot of these draftees, from Cade to Ivy to JD, they were excited to be here and rebuild this thing from the ground up. And he had a big part in that, regardless of what people try to spin and tell you. So, again, I'm going to be praying for him. I'm hoping for nothing but the best. And shout out to everybody that handled this in a mature, responsible fashion.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. What I would have liked to see for him is that he go to a little bit of a better situation. Just looking at the guards over there situation in Chicago.
He might be moved to still, too.
Very
true.
You
never know. You never know. They got a lot of guards over there. Yeah, Giddey, Desomu, Kobe White, Trey Jones, Simons.
I was like,
I'd rather guards over there.
Desomu than Saric. Come on, and Herder.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to talk more about trade stuff later, including the Celtics, the Cavs stuff, Eric. So if you're home, just hit us up. We're going to go through box scores, but come back so we can talk trades.
I'll try. I got a long drive. Hopefully it ain't snowing when I get outside, but I can keep y'all posted.
Yeah, be safe driving home too, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all. Take it easy, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, man. Our dog Vinny, man, had to pull him back up, guys. So we know we jumped around a little bit with the JI talk. We are going to come back to that later, but he was nice enough to come on last minute and just give us some updates. So we got some nice little tidbits in there that we're going to talk about too, just from what, at least for me, that I just heard him say. So we'll come back to that, guys, the JI talk. But for now, boss, let's go ahead and move to some box scores.
Back to this
win.
That's
your favorite part. So let's go ahead and get to it. Let's check the poll first, though, real quick. Let's see how this poll turned out. A lot going on. Let's see. All right, so let's see. It looks like, where did my poll go? Let me see. Is it still here? Oh, I think it disappeared on me. Can y'all still see it? Can y'all still see the poll? Let us know if you can still see it. I can't see it. There we go. Okay, here we go. Duncan Robinson, guys, for the belt, gets 42% tonight.
Okay.
Kate Cunningham is at 34%, boss. JD is at 15%, and Asar Thompson is at 9%. Who would you have given the belt to?
Gosh, like you said, a lot of candidates. I don't know. Duncan's best shooting night. I've never seen him shoot just so nicely over pressure, or that they could not stop him. But I was just really impressed with the SARS game tonight. His confidence, the baskets he was finding, what he was doing. But JD got another double-double. Kate got another double-double. Yeah, a lot of candidates. JD has it, I believe. So,
yes. Yeah, I mean, did he get it? They didn't really show last on. I don't think admin showed.
I think that he did.
I know they sprayed him because he was announced in All-Star, but I don't know if they showed that. Did they show that? Maybe they did.
I don't think so, but I think it was just a little bit implied. So I could be wrong, but if I had to guess, JD has it right now, so he might be, but he might not. So he might still be in the running. But yeah, overall.
Ryan is silly.
Yeah,
bro.
that little Jokic, that was funny. He's like, "That's Jokic right there. That's me at every game." I'm like, there he is.
Right. In case you guys didn't see, go check our last stream of her jumping for joy over Denver loss when the Pistons were in town and Jamal Murray missed the free throw. Go check that out. Funny stuff. All right, boss. Let's get to some box scores, man. Let's start with Cade, man. He had a good night tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight, guys, Cade finished with 29 points on 9 for 19 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3, 9 for 11 from the free throw line. 2 boards, 10 assists, 5 turnovers, 1 steal in 38 minutes. So a lot of minutes for Cade tonight. Boss, what'd you see?
Yeah, I don't have a ton of notes on him because he's just like normal Cade. Like usually when Cade is just in his flow, I can't write down. I have something good to write about him every time. In the first quarter, he had a great find to Asar under the basket for a dunk. great bounce pass to Stu for the dunk. In the fourth, he had a block on Watson after Watson blocked him, and then he blocked Watson. Unfortunately, Val was right there to clean it up, but I was like, that's what we appreciate about him. That's why he got 5 fouls. He's not going to give up easy stuff. He's a two-way player. The turnovers, though, we had 10 turnovers. I'm sorry, we had 9 turnovers. So he had over half of our turnovers at 5. He's our main ball handler.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
But he has been, I feel like those have gone up a little bit. But again, the Nuggets aren't going to make it easy on the Pistons either. So, I think the turnovers was the only thing. I also want to, he keeps missing technical free throws.
Bro.
I'm like, it just keeps happening. I don't know if it's just not his thing. So I'd rather see Tobias do it or Jenkins do it. Let's try someone else next time, because it just seems to be a little bit of his kryptonite is that, are those. So, and I think he missed the other one he missed was like kind of in critical time, but he made the second. So it's what it is. But another just fantastic game from Cade. Again, I got to listen to the Nuggets announcers, and they said some stuff. They just said how he's had such a well-rounded game. Scott Hastings just kept bringing up how he's just slowed down his game a lot. He looks a lot cleaner. So despite the 5 turnovers, that's what they were picking up from it. They just really loved watching him and just think that he is the all-star that he is. So
he only missed 2 free throws. I mean, he shot 9 for 11, right? So it wasn't like he shot terribly from the free throw line. He just, I think it stands out more when you miss a technical free throw because nobody's there. It's just you in the rim, so I think it kind of stand out more. But yeah, 9 for 11, I'll take that, especially when he's doing everything else he's doing in the court. But I thought aside, the turnovers were a little high. I did think he did a good job of just running the show.
Yeah.
He had really good feel in this game. He was aggressive yet under control. And his reads more times than not, were correct. His passes were crisp, whether he was finding JD for lobs or nice entry passes to Stu under the rim, bounce passes, just accurate for the most part when he was making the correct reads. And the aggression was there. Like, I think he's found that balance. For those who remember, the interview he had with Kevin Durant, Boardroom, and they were just talking about his playoff performance. And Cade said he's just trying to balance that line of, he had a mindset before of, okay, because he felt like he wasn't aggressive enough. He felt he could have played better, right? He was kind of letting their defense dictate the way he played. And he was saying before he was playing like, okay, I'm gonna drive to the basket, double team's gonna come, I'm gonna pass it. But now the small difference is he's like, I'm looking to score. So when I drive to the basket, if the double team comes, then I'm gonna make the read. So he's going in with a mindset to be aggressive with his own offense. And he's not just saying, I'm going to drive, and then when they come, he's like, no, I'm going to get to the hoop. I'm going to be aggressive. And I'm going to make them make a decision. If they make the decision, then I'm going to go ahead and make the right play. But if they don't, I'm going to play bully ball. So I think that's the small difference that he's kind of he's mastering now, is not to allow the defense to kind of take him out of games. Right. Look to be aggressive. It sounds like a small thing, but it's a very big thing when it comes to the instinct of how you play in quick decisions. So I just like that he's commanding the game better. And I think that's how he's doing that. So he's balancing that much better now. And even at parts of this game, his 3 balls working too. Right. The 3 ball he had, I think the 2 that he made were off of offensive rebounds. They were like back-to-back threes, both off of offensive rebounds. One from JD, tap out, or grab the board. One from Masar, tap out. Right. So those are backbreakers, man. You play good defense. Long shot clock, they miss a shot, and you can't finish possession defensively, and they get offensive rebounds like we did, and we get 3s out of it. Like, that's the key. And Devon, it sounds like he's learning to be in control. That's the key. And that just comes with time. That comes with reps. That comes with experience and playing different teams and playing in different situations like the playoffs, playing the same team over and over again, right? So I think that's a big part of his growth is just mastering. I think when he gets that down, like when he masters that, we're going to see that point guard, Chris Paul level decision-making to where he's just rarely turning the ball over and making the right play offensively every time. That's what I'm looking forward to for him, his progression.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think too, when we have guys, Duncan was making a shot tonight. That was the one thing with the Nuggets last week. He was 0 of 8 from 3. Jenkins wasn't making. Jenkins was 0 of 8 overall. With Jenkins on the court with Cade, it looked nice. Like he had other guys to pass to where the Nuggets, they doubled Cade, but sometimes hesitantly because they still had to guard the perimeter because our guys were hitting their shots. So and also just with the defense and stuff, having our guys be hot and on like that, which I kind of predicted they would. I didn't think they would fall back off after a couple. I'm speaking more so of Jenkins and Duncan after having a couple games of slow shooting. And then now a couple games of good shooting. I thought that they would be better tonight, and they really, especially Duncan, really exceeded that. So that's just another thing that's just going to help Cade overall. So.
Yeah. So I like what I saw, man. He wasn't forcing anything for the most part. He wasn't trying to just be too deliberate, but he was just kind of reading the defense and making the right play and let it come to him. I thought he played very, very well in this game. I thought he was, for the most part, clean, making big shots. He was trying to get downhill every opportunity. Like we said, the Nuggets don't turn the ball over a lot. So you got to kind of try to create and manufacture some transition. And after every miss, he was boarding and pushing, getting downhill, pushing that basketball. For him to be not athletic like everybody thought for years, he's up and down. He's pretty fast. A lot of these guys are just fast vertically.
Yes.
So he's one of those guys. He puts his head down and gets to the rim. So I like the aggression I saw, but it was controlled. It was under control and not too many errant plays or passes, things like that. So I thought that was good.
Agreed.
That's all I got on Cade. So let's go ahead, guys, and move on, boss, to the unction, Duncan Robinson. Tonight, guys, Duncan finished with 20 points on 7 for 12 overall, 6 of 9 from 3. I love it. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, boss, in 25 minutes. So take off on D-Rob.
Look, he was just this incredibly tough threes. Like I just couldn't believe it. Some of the threes that he was throwing up there. He was constantly moving, and he had another play too in the first where he had hit a 3 and then Cade had missed a 3 and Duncan was right there to tip it in. Yeah. They had like Valanciunas. They had like they're big guys down there. It's like how we've talked about when we get frustrated with Duran not getting rebounds because guards come flying in. Yep. That's what Duncan did for us. He was just a constant presence on the floor tonight. In the fourth, he had that big 3 that extended the lead back to 11 after they got it within 8. Like just clutch baskets. He looked great. I think he did a good job on defense for what he was, dealing with. The Nuggets are a big team. Even their guards, like, Jalen Pickett is wide and, Peyton Watson is tall and Jamal Murray is quick. Like, it's tough. So he did really good on just constant effort, constant movement. I just loved what I saw from him tonight. And again, the threes were just crucial.
Tough shots, man. And traffic.
To win this game. So
No, I agree. He did a great job of just keeping the defense honest. I felt they did double K at times late to try to throw things off and switch things up, but they were respecting Duncan Robinson after that second and third one started to fall. They saw it was probably going to be his night. He was in the rhythm, so they kind of stayed attached to him more. But we talked about it before, boss. I love the way he is moving well or moving without the basketball. He's just a much better mover now in the half court, just continuous movement. I would see him times before he run initial action. If it wasn't there or the ball was denied to him, he wouldn't really do anything after that. But now we're seeing more constant movement, right, from him off the initial action if it's not there. And when he's catching, if he is able to catch in space or if they crowd him and try to, get out to him, he's putting the ball on the floor. And he's doing a better job of putting the ball on the floor and making the right play out of it. This has been about a week now. I've seen him just more aggressive with his dribble, with his handle. Just making plays out of it when they close too hard to him. So that was great to see. He's becoming a much better, for this team, secondary playmaker.
Yes.
Right? When that does happen. So that also puts a lot of pressure on the defense. And you're seeing him now at times, if the defense comes to him off of a curl or he puts the ball on the floor, they're kind of coming to him. And now he's the one getting lobs up. He's the one faking the lob and going up with the shot like K does. Right? So we're just seeing more versatility with all these guys in different spots, which makes you harder to guard.
Yeah, that's why I think we're seeing more of him too, is he's getting into the paint. And his one basket in the last game was that towards the end, that inbound play where he went in because it was the last team they expected because he's a perimeter shooter. So it's funny. My buddy that I went with to the last game texted me. He's like, the altitude must have gotten to Duncan because this looks completely different from the last one. I was like, I know, he just wasn't hitting a shot. So I just loved what I saw from him. And again, like you can trust him a little bit more to make the right call. He doesn't get stuck. Like you're not worried if he's getting contested or shoved into the corner because he makes it work. He gets rid of the ball or he gets in the paint. So loved everything from Duncan tonight.
He was great.
Yeah.
Somebody said he was looking more and more like Beasley or TSJ, who we actually got a chance to see tonight, right? Because you saw Duncan doing some different things, like some of the things that TSJ did for us last year, some dirty work stuff. Like you saw him kind of sticking his nose in there on the offensive glass. He had a nice offensive putback, We saw
He had that
THJ do some of that
good
stuff.
charge.
He had a nice charge that he tried to take.
Yeah.
He's trying to give his body up. That's what THJ was known for here. So just seeing him doing more and more of the little things as he gets comfortable on the offensive side. We're seeing defensively now he's starting to add more to his game too.
Yeah, and I like this comment. Duncan is like Rip with a 3-ball right now in terms of movement. Like I think like
Yeah.
Rip, if you know Rip, he just never stops moving. So that's the
Yeah.
comparison I think you're trying to make too. Is that like he just well, obviously Rip could be trusted in the mid-range to just make every shot. And tonight, Duncan, we trusted him on the 3, and just the fact that he never stopped moving.
Mhm.
The Nuggets just could not keep up. So
Yeah, and he didn't hesitate when he caught it. Like it's
Right.
almost like he's unafraid of it getting blocked. It's like
Mhm.
if I can catch clean, I'm going up. Because you saw him even on a couple shots where 2 guys were there. He's still it's hard, but he's still trying to get him up because he
Mhm.
knows he's our best shooter in that starting lineup. That's his role. He has to do that. So I like seeing that. And yeah, as far as Rip, Rip became a pretty good 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
He stretched out. Well, I think once Flip Saunders came, because Larry Brown didn't really like that too much. He didn't like him. Lindsey Hunter told me that he didn't like him shooting the 3-ball. He would pull him and have him sit for a minute and put him back in the game. Like, don't do that. But with Flip Saunders, we saw Rip becoming a better 3-point shooter. He showed that range. But I definitely agree with the movement piece. Just as far as, and this is a good comment here too, still at Rise, because he can shoot over guy. He's 6'7". Right? He's not 6'3", 6'4". He needs more daylight, worry about getting a shot block. He's 6'7", so he can shoot over a lot of guys too, which makes it easier for him to get a shot off.
Yeah, exactly. But again, loved what I saw. Someone else mentioned that his technical, that's been a couple times in a row, or not a row, but lately that Duncan's got teed up. He's just winning in on that. I'm not
worried about him in that 16. We good.
Oh,
Go
no.
ahead. Duncan, do your thing, bro. Do your thing.
I'm not worried about it, but it's just nice to see he's got that Detroit dog in him. So
yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's like, just when he gets to take, I kind of just like chuckle. Like with Stu, I'm like, all right, calm down, bro. But with Duncan, I'm like, it's just funny to see. It's funny to see him doing that too. So I love it.
Tom, real quick. Tom, we're gonna talk about Ivy later, so stay on. He thinks he missed.
Oh, is that what he's talking? Oh, okay. We're not there yet. We had Eric on for a second, but we're gonna get back to it. So stick around, bro. A lot to get to with that. Yeah. That's all I got on Duncan. Anything else for you?
Nope, that's it.
All right, bet it up. Let's go ahead, boss, and move now to Asar Thompson. Asar Thompson, the guy tonight, guys. 10 points on 5 for 9 overall. No 3-pointers, no free throws. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, no turnovers, 2 steals, and a block in 24 minutes. That is Asar, Tasmanian, backbone of the defense, Thompson, boss. So go ahead and take off on our guy.
I have quite a few notes on him. Again, I love the way he played. He just looks so confident out there. Also getting the news, that he's defensive player of the month. It's probably huge for that confidence booster. Something we've talked about, that it's like a mental game with him. So he's on a streak right now. The block was from the first Nuggets possession. I think it was Christian Brown.
Yeah, he swatted it.
Yeah. So that's his block. The first possession, first offensive possession for the Nuggets, he set the tone. Awesome. He had that dunk over Jokic in the first. I love that. The lob to the JD dunk. In the second, he had a nice jump shot near the end of the half, like just turned around and took it. I was like, those are the ones that had been kind of risky for him, but he did that. And then a steal at the end of the quarter. And then, or near the end of the quarter, he had the offensive rebound to keep the possession near the end of the quarter as well, which led to the Cade 3. Again, like you said, off of offensive rebounds. And then in the third, just like his layups, like his around the rim, he just had such a nice touch. Like he just looked really good, really in control tonight. So, and also only one personal foul and no turnovers, which we've talked about with his ball handling, just being able to trust him. He's just done a lot better. Like you said, like just looked a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable. So he was on, especially the first half, he was on my list for getting the belt tonight because he did great.
Yeah, he came out. It seemed like he didn't play. Was there a stretch in there where he just wasn't in the game, like between the third and fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Because I remember him not being in, like, I'm like, where's Asar? I just realized he hadn't played like 6 or 7 minutes. I'm like, where's he at? And then they brought him back in toward the end of the fourth quarter. But it felt like there was a period where he wasn't playing a lot. Yeah,
I think it was towards the end of the third, beginning of the fourth, and then they brought him back in. And then I remember him getting subbed out, and I was kind of like, why would you do that?
Okay. Yeah.
Why would you sub him out? But it all worked out in the end. I think they subbed him out for some more offense, which we did get, and then he came back in when we needed the defense. So it was just more of like a rest thing at that point. Okay. Just like they subbed Cade out for a few minutes in the fourth as well, because then he did finish off the game. So
And that's what Dante's saying. Dante's saying it's very frustrating to see the new defensive player of the month not play minutes late in the close fourth quarter. That might be my only problem with this game. And I agree. I agree. I did notice that for a long period of time they had Danis in there with Cade. And I understand why, just to give him that other playmaker on the court, that true playmaker on the court. But you were sacrificing a little bit of defense because Asar Thompson is who he is defensively. So okay, so it wasn't just me that saw that.
Noticed,
you guys, okay, all right. So I know I'm not tripping. It did feel like he was sitting for a while. So I understand you guys' frustration with that for sure. Because when he came back in, he did what he does right at the end of the game. So okay, all right. As far as what I saw, boss, great two-way play in this game. Great two-way play in this game. On the perimeter and in the paint. He was just great everywhere. Once again, he pretty much held Jamal Murray in check, right? The box scores are what they are, but when you watch the game, you saw how difficult everything was for Jamal Murray when Asar was guarding him. We talked about Steph Curry and how Asar's a great cover. I feel the same way about Asar with Jamal Murray. Just that long, rangy defender who can move their feet laterally and stay in front, and who have great instincts and just athletic. Those type of guys bother guys like Jamal Murray. I watched Ant-Man, who's not Asar Thompson as far as his measurables, but I saw Ant-Man in the playoffs a couple years ago guarding him. I'm sure you saw it too, guarding him, and he really kind of had him clamped, right? So athletic guys who can stay in front and who are good athletes at what Jamal struggles with. So I think that's a really good matchup for the Pistons going forward if we see this team again. But he did it all. He was swatting shots away at the rim, like you mentioned. And he looked comfortable with the basketball. He's making me more comfortable because I can see that he's getting more comfortable. Like the way he's boarding and pushing now, you're not seeing him turn the ball over in transition, just lose the ball, bobbling the ball. We're not seeing that stuff anymore. He's very much in control. And once again, like we said with Cade, the same thing applies to everybody. The reps, the opportunity, just getting a chance to do it more. And I'm feeling much more confident in his ability because his handle looks better. His handle looks much improved. I got to give him a lot of credit for that. So that, as well as his defensive instincts, are top notch.
Well, and that's just
his
huge.
Defensive instincts don't make sense. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're so good, and again, they kind of just improve with his overall confidence. But that's just what he's not someone that we rely on for points really. But so when he can just be obviously he's beneficial on the defensive end, but then we can rely on him in other ways, like helping keep Cade off the ball and helping, make the right decisions and make the right cuts and stuff on offense. Then he's just really taking advantage of his minutes out there. You don't really have to settle it's not really, it turns into, they're giving up some offense for defense right now. It turns into like, they're going to keep it. Here comes a defensive powerhouse and the offense shouldn't fall off. So.
That's what Clifton was saying. He said, I know, but if you didn't have Danis, you don't know how many more turnovers happened. JB called an audible when he saw it wasn't working. Exactly. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not mad at the adjustment and then the adjustment to the adjustment. Because like we always say, boss, we want to make sure we're winning games with our defense. We're trying to get stops to end the game. So now it's a chicken or the egg thing. Like, do I want to have our offense so that way I can get good shots and we can set up on defense? Or do I just go straight to my defense and deal with the turnovers and say, we'll get back? It's a tough thing. It's a game by game matchups, the situation. So I think he tried it. It didn't work. And he went back to it. He went back went back home.
It also was a little bit of a rest thing. Like I mentioned, he'd only played a lot of minutes. You don't know what's going to happen. There was a lot of, it was a lot of back and forth. So I think he just went out for a little bit. And I do want to mention, Asar was the only starter without a turnover, and then that came off the bench had a turnover. So it was four or five starters, and so they did. You can the Danis argument is valid, the Asar argument is valid. That we just have some guys that are taking care of the ball, and that's just huge. And again, like we only had 9 turnovers. The Nuggets had 10, and they have average low ones. They take care of the ball really well.
Average 12.
I think it's mostly because of their ball movement, but we did just a really good job in crucial moments to make sure that we did turn them over and that we took care of the ball as well.
Exactly. So yeah, Asar was great, man. He's got great anticipation, man. Great anticipation. He was, I think it was like 2 or 3 straight possessions where he picked off a pass, right? Not had a nice steal. And some of those passes were coming from Jokic. He was just playing the passing lanes well. Great anticipation. Just turning defense into offense. Just really good stuff. Stuff that's hard to really scout for.
Well, it's like Cade was able to come in for some blindside steals on Jokic because Asar and Duran were there. Like some of the blindside steals is because the guy you're guarding is so worried about the one guy who's guarding him that they don't see the guy coming from the help side, the weak side. So that was just another way they went in. And I only saw a clip of it again because I didn't get to see the Detroit broadcast, but that was it Ron who was talking about how they were just communicating so well out there.
Yeah.
And that just seemed to be what it was on both ends. It just really seemed all very intentional and all very focused. There were very few times that very few moments that we lacked on defense. It was just the Nuggets getting their shot that they were able to get.
I agree, man. Yeah. The midi look good too. It seems like more and more he's starting to go to that midi game. He's comfortable there. So if that is going to be home for him, working his way out from there, I'm totally okay with it. It looks like it's still very line drive, but he looks comfortable with it. So if he's comfortable with it, I'm cool with it as well. But last thing on Asar, and it's kind of like not even just Asar, but kind of everybody. Just last show, boss, we talked about how we have different guys on this team kind of switching roles on certain plays, certain play calls, right? It's not just the K to JD lob anymore. Now it's the occasional JD to K lob. It's the Tobias to the JD. It's the Ron Holland to Isaiah Stewart lob, right? And now we're seeing more Asar in JD, right?
Yes.
You saw that multiple times tonight with Asar as the ball handler and making the right play and finding JD for the lob. So once again, boss, the Pistons are becoming more just unpredictable offensively because you got more guys now, multiple guys who could do multiple things. And once again, that comes with time, right? Just you got to get comfortable with your vets, with your young guys, with your sets. So I think Asar just did a great job of facilitating, and just he's gonna make this defense or this offense just much more unpredictable as he becomes more a playmaker for sure.
Yeah, and again, his confidence is up. He's getting league recognition now. I think that I hope that because we've all noticed it that when he's down, it seems to be more of a mental thinking too hard. Even in the last game when he made that half court shot, people were like, well, he made that because he wasn't thinking, And that kind of it didn't see hesitant today. So as long as he keeps that up, I mean, that's just going to really beneficial. And someone else brought it up. He was out for a blood clot for a while too. So he's still developing, he's months behind his brother. And we're just starting to see more of his game come out a lot more comfortably.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point too. Great point, man. Yeah, so I love what I saw from him tonight. If he keeps this up, we're gonna be in good shape. And everything else offensively will be bonus at this point.
Yes.
So, all right, let's go ahead and move it along, boss. Now to Uncle T in this game.
Okay.
Tobias Harris, guys. Tobias finished with 11 points on 4 for 13 overall, 2 of 4 from 3, 1 of 1 from the free throw line, 6 boards, 3 assists, 2 turnovers in 34 minutes for Unc. So what'd you see from Tobias tonight, boss?
Yeah, they were, 4 of 13. Like I said, they were doubling him. He was their problem last game. So their game plan was to make sure Tobias Harris didn't get hot. And so the fact that he still put up 11 points for us, 6 rebounds and 3 assists, I think is huge. He had, at the end of the half, he had great defense on Watson. It forced Watson to have to give up the ball. He had that shot clock beater 3 at the end of the third. That buzzer beater 3 that bounced. It was a little tricky. The Nuggets called it they called it a divine intervention, the Nuggets announcers. The Pistons. And the fourth, he had great defense on Murray. Again, we were just talking about how Murray is hard to guard. And there was one possession where, he just did not let Murray get a pass, get a shot. He played great. And then the huge corner 3 at the end of the fourth. So he was only 2 of 4 from 3, but the threes that he made, and we talked about this with guys like Wu, it's just timely, just needed. And so I think, especially that 3 was a little bit more wide open. And so I think you could just tell that the defense on him tonight did make it a problem because he was their biggest issue other than Cade last game. So still liked what I saw from him. He held it down. When he was out there, he didn't really let up on defense. 6 rebounds and 5 defensive is great. So I personally don't really have any complaints from Tobias. They made it tough on him and he was still able to work that long. I think my only thing is, Ron got less minutes and Wu got less minutes. Not that Tobias, I just think 34 minutes isn't necessary when you have those guys. But, again, I think he was hot and he is hot against the Nuggets. It's just that the Nuggets just continue to make it hard on him.
Yeah, he played more minutes than those 2 combined.
Yeah.
Right. So to your point, I thought last game was a lot of minutes. Anytime he's getting okay, I don't want to see either of those guys above 35 minutes if they don't have to be. For different reasons. But 34 minutes is a lot for him. It looked like he was a little gassed, late in his game. But I thought he was okay. He was solid. He made shots when we needed him. He was cold for most of his game, but he made
Yeah.
shots when we needed him. That's the most
Mhm.
important part to me. I like that because he missed his previous 2 corner threes in the first half.
Mhm.
Neither of them fell from what I saw. But
Yeah.
I like that coach went back to him down the stretch
Mhm.
late in his game. That's how you show trust in your vet, right?
Mhm.
Late in the fourth quarter, for anybody who didn't see, he was wide open for a 3 ball and it bounced on the rim. That must have been the same ball that was used for 2019 Sixers versus Raptors when Kawhi put that 3 up and it bounced on the rim for like 10 seconds. That must have been the same ball because it did this. It looked very, very similar. Just kind of just hung on the rim, sat there, bounced 4 or 5
Yes. Yeah.
times, and then finally fell on the
Oh,
rim.
yeah.
So he got a kind of balance for sure. But I just like that coach went back to him, even
Mhm.
though he was cold, because this is crunch time. This is winning time. This is clutch time. And he showed
Yeah.
that he can get it done regardless of how many times it bounced on the rim. He still went in.
Yeah, and exactly. And I think it just goes to show too that, he is just valuable out there. And again, like while it did seem like we had a lot of transition offense, we only, made them turn the ball over 10 times. So it was a lot of half court and we did rely on him for that. And he has just continued to step up when we need him.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, so good game from Uncle T, man. Y'all behave in the chat, man.
Yeah, be nice to each other. Come
Y'all
on.
behave. All right, boss. Let's go ahead and go to our last starter. JD tonight, guys. Jalen Duren finished
Ooh.
with 19 points on 6 for 10 shooting overall, 7 for 8 from the free throw line, 13 boards, 1 assist, 1 turnover, and a steal in 31 minutes. I feel like he played more than that, but I ain't mad. 31. Okay.
Yeah,
Talk about it, boss. What'd you see?
I liked him with Stu out there. It is something the Nuggets announcers realized as well. They're like, the 2 big lineup is going to work. And it did. He got it passed to Stu. Stu had a pass to him. Like they both
Exactly
really fed off of each other and it looked nice. And then the Nuggets are forced to play their 2 bigs. There's Val and Jokic.
Do they always do? Is that a norm for them?
No.
It's not. Okay.
Nope. They even talked about it. They talked about how it's strategy. The commentators, they talked about how they liked it. Jokic was on a minutes restriction too.
Yeah.
I was at 28 minutes. I thought he wasn't on a restriction, but 28 minutes still doesn't even feel like a restriction. For most players, that wouldn't even be a restriction. So with Val, they just kind of relied on that. They also have Zeke Naji too, who is a backup center if needed. But
yeah, he's a little smaller, right?
Yeah, he's long, but he's small.
Okay.
And so they try to counter that. So that was huge. But Duren, he was doing everything right. He was getting rebounds. He was getting the rebounds over Jokic. He finished with more rebounds. Oh no, sorry. Jokic had 15 rebounds. He had 13. But he was just really getting in there. He had that huge offensive rebound at the end of the 4th, the one right over Murray.
Yeah, that was huge.
It needed. So that was big. And then the free throws. Good job,
7 for 8. The
He's
last
been
few
doing
games
so
now.
well. Yeah, and because we talked about how he was doing well, then he kind of started to go more 50-60%. Now he's back up to that. Like again, those were huge and they were clutch. And it's exactly what we needed. And he just looked like an all-star out there.
Yep.
So yeah, 0 complaints from him. I understand why a lot of people voted for him on the poll as well.
Yeah, I get it.
Just great stuff. Almost a 2010 game. I'll take a 1913. So.
Oh yeah, I know that's your benchmarker. Yeah, 2010 every game, right?
Yeah.
Tom said I had to FaceTime my friend who's a Nuggets fan to trash talk him. How are your friends doing there, Sarah?
They're doing good.
How are your Nuggets fans doing?
I'll just say real quick, the last game they were like, well, to only lose by 2 points without Jokic is really good. And now this time they have to, they lost by 3 points with Jokic. And, I personally, again, I don't think Jokic is 100% back. Like this, we're lucky to, meet them when we did. I would have wanted to meet them earlier in the season or later in the season. My Nuggets friends are doing fine. It's 2 in a row. I'm sure they want the win tomorrow. I haven't heard much yet, but there's really not much they can say. They had 43 free throws. They had their chances. So
yeah. No, definitely had the chances for sure. But the Pistons said, nah, bruh, not tonight. All right. For me, it felt to me like JD just had a little bit extra coming into this game. He just had a little bit extra, right? He had a different pep in his step, especially to start this game. Just his movements were quicker. He was just more decisive in the paint. His spin move looked like a blur. Grown man strength on display for sure. But I liked it. I liked seeing that. I like because it was almost like he was like, okay, this is the best player in the world. All right, bet. Let me go show that I'm, I can play with this guy. And I like that because he's an all-star now. right? The expectation has changed now. People are going to label you a little bit differently whenever they see you. All-star,
Mm-hmm.
all-star. Like that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed like he understood that he had a good opportunity to kind of just see how he measured up against the best player in the world, right?
Yeah.
And two guys, these are both two guys in Jokic and JD who like to play physical in the paint,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Oh,
you
yeah.
knew it was going to be a battle all night long. And Jokic doesn't see too many guys
Mm-mm.
who are this big, strong, and skilled enough to want to be physical all night with him.
Yeah.
A lot of guys he's going against, maybe they're physical, but they're not nearly big enough or strong enough, or they're as big, but they're more finesse. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
see too many guys who are this big, this strong, this talented, who want to be physical.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was kind of thrown off by that.
Agreed.
That seemed to really bother him a little bit. He was trying to draw fouls, and he was just doing some things that you kind of tell you, like, all right, he's trying to get some cheapies here, get him out of the game.
Yeah.
But it goes back to what Draymond Green said post-game after the Warriors game. He said the difference now is JD knows how to use his body.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's always been big. He's always been athletic. But Draymond couldn't do anything with him because at the point when you start to get the IQ, it comes down to size. It comes down to will, but it comes down to size. If I know how to if I know all the things you know about me, I know how to combat that, and I'm bigger and stronger, you don't have a chance.
Yeah.
So I think that was a difference with JD. His transformation this year is different. It's the first time he's seen Denver. First time Jokic has seen him. So he's probably seeing a different version this year of JD across the board. But also, I'm sure if Draymond noticed it about how he's playing and using his body, you can bet Nikola Jokic noticed it as well. And that's why, to me, it seemed a little bit easier for JD than he didn't seem overwhelmed physically. He didn't seem like he wasn't getting in foul trouble, bad fouls because he's tired. He's in better condition now. It's just a totally different JD. And I think all these teams who don't see it consistently are starting to see that when he plays them.
And agreed. And that's why I also think that Jokic isn't feeling 100% because I feel like at the OKC game too, he has always been kind of a talker. He's been a little bit of a flailer, not as bad as others, I would say, but he does deserve it sometimes. Like, he gets hacked too, Jokic. So, but tonight, he probably came off that game with Chet, who he's seen in 4 times a year, plus the playoff series the last 2 years. Like, he's seen Chet, so he's probably coming into this game like, oh, it's JD. This is gonna be a little bit easier, and it wasn't. He did great. So I was just exciting to see because I know a lot of our fans were asking. They want to see us match up against the good teams with their best players. And now we know, JD, and Jokic was 24 and 15, and JD was 19 and 13. They just made it hard. But a lot of the points from Jokic were from the perimeter. They weren't even in the paint because JD didn't let him. They didn't let him get there.
Exactly.
So that was just really cool to see that, no one backed down because, obviously Jokic is 4-time MVP. Like he's obviously a really good center, really good player. And I just feel like we didn't make it easy. I think with an easier team, he might've gotten back into his old form a little bit, but we weren't letting him get assists. We weren't letting him get in the paint.
7 points at halftime.
Barely letting him get, and low assists. He only had 4.
Wow.
And he averages over 10. He averages over 10 in everything. He averaging
right behind Cade.
Yeah. So I just like, if JD's got to come out of this feeling really confident in that too. Like this is, the best center in the world. Maybe not the best center matchup because again, he can do kind of everything. He's not just a big body that always has to be guarded in the paint. He does a lot. But I mean, if I was JD, I would feel really proud of how I handled him.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Like I was just happy to see that he just took on the challenge. He took on the challenge. He had pride coming into this game. He's taking this year seriously. You can see he knows it doesn't end just with the All-Star nod. He knows he's still got a lot of work ahead of him, right? He wants to be one of the best players in the world. JD does, right? So I think he just wants to show that when he has these marquee matchups, as you want to call them, whatever you want to call them, he wants to show, he wants to show what level he's on in comparison to these guys who get all the accolades. And deservingly so, but he wants to show that he's one of those guys too. So I just love to see that pride.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think we did. It was announced during the game too, but him and Cade will be on the same team. There's 3 teams. Yeah. And so him and Cade will be together on the USA team, which is cool. Cat's on the world team, which I didn't realize. So we won't get Jalen Brunson and Cat, but we will get JD.
Isn't Cat Dominican though?
Probably.
Isn't that why he's in the world team?
I guess I just slipped my mind that he was on the world. I thought that we would get kind of a Cade and JD versus Jalen Brunson and Cat showdown, but we won't. So world's gonna take that, but I'm excited about it.
Yes. All dark skinned dudes look the same to you.
Yeah.
If you got some color, they all look the same to you.
Wait, I don't get it.
Is that what it is? You think he American? You think he
No, I
American?
just didn't know the cat was Dominican.
You didn't know that?
No,
Really?
no.
Yeah.
Just like some people don't realize that Jamal's Canadian. Like you just don't.
Yeah, I guess.
You didn't know.
I guess.
That's all.
All right. I'll let
That's
you off the hook.
all.
All right.
But I am excited too that they have Maxi on their squad. I want to see some Maxi to JD Loves.
Yeah, I want to see Maxi and K too, low key.
Yeah,
Like
same.
that's gonna be fun to see
Yes.
because you got one speedy guard and you got one guard who's methodical, who can
Yes.
sneak. Yeah, that's gonna be fun to see. But Team World is gonna be scary, man. That's
Mhm.
gonna
I
be
know.
scary, bro.
Yeah.
That's gonna be scary. That's gonna be fun to watch though. All right. So we'll leave it there. But yeah, great game from Jalen Duren. We'll leave it there. Great performance from our all-star. So let's keep it moving, boss. Let's go to some bench guys. Let's see what we got to start. Let's start with Tink, Dennis Jenkins. See what he did tonight.
Okay.
All right. So tonight, guys, Dennis Jenkins had 6 points on 2 for 8 shooting, all 1 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 1 rebound, and 1 steal, boss, in 16 minutes. Take off on DJ.
Yeah, he had no turnovers as well. No assists, which is crazy. But
Yeah.
again, we kind of had lower assists anyways tonight. But in the first, that's when he got like kind of most of it, the 2 of his baskets at least. He got the first is when we were closest with the Nuggets. Like we were kind of neck and neck the whole time. I was like, this is gonna be a showdown. We pulled away in the second. And Dennis had two needed baskets to keep our lead ahead of them, both at the rim. And then in the fourth, he had the huge offensive rebound to get the free throws as well, which he did he hit both of those?
Yes, he did. Yes, clutch.
Yeah, and I think his defense was great too. He had to do a lot to keep up with Murray. Some of the foul calls against him, like I would say, he had 5.
He was playing
fouls.
physical, man. Like, come on.
Yeah, he
man.
was. And 2 of those should not have been, at least 2 should not have been called based on what they weren't calling on the other end too. Like the way the game was going, it should have just been like, why are you calling this one
Just
now?
let him play, bro.
Yeah, but I loved what I saw from him tonight. I knew he would get more minutes, obviously, with Ivy gone. So I think he did great. And again, the stats line doesn't really show it. Like 2 of 8, that's, I mean, he had the team first, but that's just unlike, like, also just a little bit, I didn't think it was that bad. Like I thought his presence out there was huge. He made it difficult for the Nuggets to get anything done on offense, and then just really contributed. He probably has a lot of hockey assists, I guess, because it felt like he was moving the ball well.
He took good shots though for the most part, and he didn't turn it over, which probably kind of made it feel like he shot a little bit better because it wasn't obvious, just bad plays. It was good shots, just didn't fall. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that for sure. Yeah. I thought he was really great too, boss, in this game. I thought his pacing was great. We talked about how the Nuggets really don't turn it over. They want to keep it in half court. He was, along with Cade, like the point guard should do with that position, but with this team, just trying to push the ball, just trying to be deliberate with, getting the ball in transition. I like seeing that. He had that lefty floater off the glass, I think you mentioned. That was a tough shot. Lefty floater off he had to put a high off the glass too.
Yes.
I did. Yeah, I did like the defense on Jamal Murray. He's just tough. Jamal Murray's tough, man. Like everybody isn't Asar Thompson, bro. Like Asar makes it look easy at times, and we can kind of get used to that because we see him play every night, which is why a lot of time he may look for other things that he can work on. But I mean, that's a tough ask to guard Jamal Murray like that, man.
They have different styles of defense. I mean, Jenkins is a little bit more in your face, where Asar is very good at staying in front. But Asar also, like, his defense can be crucial because he puts a lot of space between him sometimes and the defender. So he might, but Jenkins doesn't let any of that space happen.
Yeah, he's up into you.
So it's a little different. But I mean, Jamal Murray had no breaks.
Everything was tough.
Yeah.
Everything was tough.
Yes.
And so Tinker's always gonna bring that dog. He's always gonna play tough, gritty, be crafty. He had a huge offensive board in this game with like 45 seconds to go off that Pistons miss when they were only up 3 points.
Yep.
And that was when he got fouled. Those were the 2 free throws.
Yep.
They were up 3. He goes to the line, calmly knocks them both down because
not his first time making clutch free throws.
Exactly. He's done it already earlier this year, so that's not new to him. He's always ready.
Yep.
But I thought he that very next play defensively, just the whole sequence was important because I think it was a rotation. The Nuggets were moving the ball. We were trying to rotate. He sprinted out to Strother as soon as the rotation called for it and made that 3-pointer tough, and he missed it. And when we got the rebound, we saw the Nuggets immediately, because they were down, tried to double Cade and trap Cade, and Danis immediately ran to where Cade was and made himself available.
Yep.
That was why he was on the floor.
Yes.
That was why he was on the floor, just to be the outlet if they do indeed try to double Cade and turn him over or trap him. So I thought that was important at that stretch to have him in the game instead of Asar or somebody else. Well, I understand why that situation JB did that. He wants to protect the ball, to make sure we're not turning the ball over and getting good shots. So I just thought he made a lot of heady plays, did Danis Shinkin. Just a lot of great instinctual plays, making the right play, being at the right place, right time, not leaking out, fighting for offensive rebounds as a point guard, just doing a lot of little things that were very important for the Pistons to win this game.
It felt like he was in there for more than 16 minutes, for sure.
It did.
Even though his stat line seemed a little low, you thought that he was there. And like you said, just like the spacing, the decision-making, just making himself available, calling the right plays. Yeah, and Val blocked one. Val and Watson got really into blocking at the end of the game too. But that's what they do. So he just made the right calls. And like you said, he's just so trusted. And I thought his impact was definitely bigger than the box score might reflect. And then again, it felt like he was out there for more than 16.
It did. He must have had some kind of impact in the game then, for sure. And that's what it was. So yeah, good game from Tank for sure. We needed it. We needed it, man. All right, boss. Let's go to someone who has been out for some time. Karis LeVert, guys. Yeah. Karis LeVert missed the last 7 games with an illness. We don't know what that is. We're not going to talk about that too much. You just don't know. But what we do know is that tonight in this game, I thought he played pretty decent, right? Same. So let's just go through it. Tonight, guys, Karis LeVert finished with 4 points on 2 for 6 overall, 0 for 3 from 3. He didn't shoot it well, but he had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, no turnovers, a steal and a block. So two stocks for him in 20 minutes in his first action in about 2 weeks. So, boss, what did you see from Karis LeVert tonight in his return?
Yeah, so obviously wasn't shooting well from behind the perimeter. He tried to get it up. So basically he was 2 from 3 in the paint, which I will take any day. He had great defense on Christian Brown in the second.
Yes, he did.
And, some people, I was in a chat and they were talking about how they noticed that. And like, to be fair, like Christian Brown is his first game back, but still, like, you're not just going to let him get what he wants. So great defense. He got in some passing lanes too, disrupted. In the third, he had that big jump shot when the Nugs were kind of on a run.
Fadeaway jumper.
Yep. Looked good. He had a good pass to Tobias, which is one of Tobias's threes. He had the steal to regain the possession at the end of the third so that they couldn't, add more points to it. That was huge. In the fourth, he had the knockaway on Jokic, which led to the steal.
Yeah.
And then LeVert dunked it. Like, again, so, and then a big offensive rebound in the fourth as well. Just, making sure that they don't get any second chances. So I didn't, I think maybe the 0 for 3 from 3 is glaring to people, but he had no turnovers. His defense was solid. He has 2 stocks, which is huge, on top of contributing in other ways. I thought that he did great in the minutes that he was in.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing for me. I try to be fair across the board with all these guys, right? With what I kind of how I react to it. I wasn't going to be too critical of him tonight either way.
Yeah.
I just wasn't. He's missed 7 straight games. He hasn't played. So to come back, that's a lot of rust to shake off. You got to get back into a groove, into a flow. And against a good team, that's not always easy, especially trying to play defense, right? So we don't know the details of the illness or anything, health situation. So I wasn't going to be too tough of a critic either way. Like, if you're going to say, this guy needs time, that guy needs time, he's been bad, we've got to be patient. It's got to be across the board, just from a basketball standpoint. So I thought with that, he was okay. I know he only had 4 points in 20 minutes. I know he didn't shoot it well, but what do we always say, boss? Control what? Control the things you can control.
Yeah.
And defensively, he did a lot of good things in this game. I can't even front. He did a lot of good things in this game. You mentioned a few of them. He broke up he actually knocked a pass out or shot out of bounds that Christian Brown had on the break. It was going to be a dunk or a layup. He came from behind, got all ball. That's a big play, right? He made a great read out of the Nuggets double team when Cade got it to him at the free throw line. Found Stu for that easy dunk. I think you mentioned that. Found Stu for that easy dunk. Nice pass, nice read, right? So I just got to say, I was impressed, man. I was impressed. Like, I was impressed with how he looked defensively. I'm okay with him not shooting the ball well in his first game back. I know he has some struggles, throughout the year, but I'm not going to focus on that, especially in a game where he hasn't played in 2 weeks.
Exactly.
So we know you lead with the defense, and then things will come for you offensively in time. So I'm okay with it. Defensively, he was great. If he had like 15 points and he was just missing all kind of assignments defensively, bad game.
Yeah.
Bad game, because the things you can control, you're not. Right? So the fact that it's the opposite, he led with the defense. He was critical, getting turnovers, getting transition, making the right plays, getting steals, making tough shots when we need them. Did a lot of little things, a lot of intangible things that don't show up in the box score that were important. So I got to give him credit for that.
And when I say great, a lot of people are hitting like he was good. Let's just say average. The greatness was the defense. I mean, the Nuggets, guys, they pulled back we only won by 3. Like all the possessions matter, defense and offense. And I think if he hit one of those threes, he'd be 3 for 6. I think it'd be a different story. He'd be, 3 for 6, 50%. Like I think, if he just nailed one of those threes, it'd be a little different story here. But I agree. I was just, impressed because he is, so a lot of people's target this season. We talked about how other guys got minutes when he wasn't on the court, but today his defense was needed and appreciated. So I appreciate that.
Yep. So if we can get a little bit more offense from him consistently to go along with the effort defensively, I think it'll be a better situation for the Pistons for sure as far as their depth. All right, boss, we'll leave it there on Karis. Let's move on now to LeRon Darpon Jr. Holland. Tonight, guys, Ron Holland finished with 7 points on 3 for 6 overall, 1 for 3 from 3, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, and a block for 2 stocks in only 15 minutes, boss. Pretty efficient stuff there. What'd you see from LeRon?
Yeah, I love Ron, as always. No complaints. So it was funny because the first shot he had was a bank 3. And when he shot it up, the Nuggets go, that's not good. And then he banked it in. And they said, he missed it so bad that he made it. And then they said if that was in the corner, it would have been an air ball. And then his next 3 was a corner air ball, long, because he was just shooting a little long. So I was like, you know what? Take it from the top and bank it in every time, Ron. I don't care.
Right.
So that looked good. He had the block from behind on Hardaway. Loved that. He was flying in for rebounds. Again, he's just really taking that so seriously. He's only recorded 4, but in 15 minutes, I can't complain. And then he brought it all the way back for a basket twice where he got the ball and then just took it up court and got it.
Board and push.
The steal from Jokic on the weak side, just like Cade had, kind of how they decided to defend him. And I thought that worked out well. If I have other teams now, as someone who watches the Nuggets, that doesn't happen a lot. Yeah. The fact that they happened multiple times, and also it could have happened more because we got close. I props to the coaching staff. For watching that and thinking that this, I don't see that from Jokic a lot.
It's true.
In the third, he checked in and immediately drew an offensive foul on Val. Immediately. And then he had a defensive rebound to the reverse layup in the third. Yeah, just a scrappy guy. And they said another thing they had said is, I think it was in the second when he flew in for a rebound and ran all the way up for a basket. They said Detroit has some athletic guys that can really fly, and Ron is one of them. So, he's getting more notice, and again, still someone that always, he got 2 stocks and 7 points and 4 rebounds, but still someone that always plays more than their box score reflects.
That's a great point. Yeah, intangibles. We talk about that, the impact all the time, right? And he definitely has that ability. I just felt like when he came into the game, the whole complexion of the game just changed.
Yeah.
Completely. The pace just completely sped up because most of this game, up until the point where he came into the game, he and Javonte Green, who I call the Grit Bulls, up until the point they came into the game, this was a half-court game on both sides. It was very slow-paced early. Guys were making shots. It wasn't a ton of turnovers. We couldn't really get to what we wanted. We had to run our half-court offense, which was easier because they're not a good defensive team. But we still want to try to get out in transition as much as we can. But in that first quarter, it was just half-court game. Just good execution on offense from both teams, right? Yep. So it's tough in those situations. But when Ron came into the game, like usual, when they came into the game, the Grit Bulls did what they do best, man. They wreak havoc, they turn you over, they force you into tough shots, and they get out and run. That's what they do. So the same thing happened in the third quarter as well. At the end of the third quarter, same thing happened, right? He came into the game, immediately drew the offensive foul, like you said, and once again just gave the Pistons more pace. So when the Pistons, when their lead is diminishing, it's because they're playing slow over and over and over and over again. When they can't pull away, it's because they're playing slow. If they're if they're losing and the deficit is increasing, it's because they're playing slow.
Yeah.
They're playing their best basketball when they have pace. And Ron Holland is the pacemaker. So that's why I think the game really shifted when he came into the game, because he does that for them better than pretty much anybody on this team.
Yeah, and I love this comment. THJ picking Ron up off the floor is not something you see every day. Yeah, THJ, Ron was on the floor and he was just laying there, and THJ just picked him right up. That's when he was blocked by Val. And Ron did that same block on Keontae George, where he fell backwards. And so Ron just got to kind of, take to his own medicine a little bit. Nothing wrong with that play, just physical. No. But it was funny, THJ picking him up. He still has love for a lot of these guys. I saw when THJ was shooting free throws, the coaching staff kind of laughing and giggling because I think they were talking to him during it. But
he's still cool with them, real close.
Yeah, of course. Nothing but love for THJ and vice versa. But I like what you said about the pace too. That was another thing, is when he came back in, I was like, oh, there's Ron. He hasn't been in this whole quarter. I think that was like the third. He came in like late in the third.
It felt like it too. Yeah.
And again, so just lower minutes, but always someone you can rely on to call in. Like, we didn't necessarily need him in, but it is always exciting when he comes in. And like you said, I did feel the pace kind of pick up on that. He just, he's just a scrappy dog on both ends. It's hard for the Nuggets who aren't a very fast-paced team to deal with that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I thought he was great. He was great, man. He just gave the Pistons what they needed. That jolt that he always does when they needed it. Give them easy points, get the crowd into the game, just all those things from a momentum standpoint. He really contributed to that for sure, like he always does. So once again, great game from Ron Holland, man. And the shot will continue to come along. I'm not worried about that at all. So we'll leave it there, guys, on LeBron. Let's jump now, boss. Let's go to Savage Woo. Javonte Green. Can you woo? Boss, tonight in this game, Javonte Green finished with 7 points on 2 of 4 shooting overall, 1 of 2 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 assists, 1 steal in only 14 minutes, boss. So an efficient performance as well from Javonte Green. What'd you like?
Yeah, he had that steal that he had was the one that led to the Cade 3 at the end of the second to help us maintain a big lead going into halftime. So it's just a huge momentum keeper, basically. And then in the fourth, he had a big 3 and he called for it. It was on a break. It was on a transition and he called for the 3. And so you knew it was going in once he hit it. And then after that, he had his huge woo dunk. We got one. Yeah. We got a big one. I loved it. I can't wait to go watch highlights of it later because it was huge. So
people forget just how athletic he is, because you don't always, it's like he only goes to it when he needs to. He just pulls it out every now and then.
And just super efficient. He finished the game with no personal fouls. And the Nuggets announcers they were like, you might remember this guy is the guy who fouled Jamal Murray twice in the last game behind the field. And I wanted to be like, they weren't.
That kid can't be known for that, bro.
But they're just going to keep that
up. But the refs, that should be the story of that, not him fouling him twice. Go ahead.
Truly. And so, Javonte, another just great game. Here's Chris's. Watch me do it all.
Coach.
I love it. So, yeah.
He brings a fresh new one every episode, boss. I love it.
Yes.
Like we mentioned with Ryan, man, he just came in and played his game, boss. Can you whoa? What up, crud? He just does stuff, boss. He just does stuff. He just makes stuff happen. Didn't score a ton of points, but you mentioned it, that flurry, that 5-point flurry. In that midway through that fourth quarter was huge, right? Because it was 5 straight points. It was the 3-ball, and then it was the breakaway dunk. That was all back to back. So Heisman said, "Man, I thought Wu might have took off too." I did too, bro. Actually, no. I take that back. I didn't, because when I was kind of scouting him this offseason, I saw his highlight reel, and I was like, on the highlight reel, I'm like, bro, because usually on highlight reels you expect him to dunk to make it. On those, I'm like, he ain't about to throw that down. And so I'm like, so that was my introduction to him. Just seeing all the highlight reels he had. I'll link the short I made to that, where it's all his highlight plays. But I was like, at first I was like, he got it. Yeah. Because he's got some, and that's what I mean, though. He doesn't usually pull that out every game. You see him whizzing up and down the court and being physical defensively and having great instincts and reflexes and anticipation, but you don't see him getting up off the floor like that too often. So I understand why you felt that way, Heisenberg, for sure, because he's sneaky with it.
I'll quickly say I'm with Heisenberg on this, and I knew what he can do too, but it's just almost that.
Still, but like
also just being like close in the game, the Pistons, were making some mistakes. We were trying to get out. I was like,
Okay.
oh God, it's just gonna go
Rattle
too
out.
hard. We've seen some missed dunks from either us or the other team in recent games. So I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
but we did it and I loved it.
Rattle out, and they get the rebound. They come down,
Yeah.
get a 3-ball, 5-point swing, just some Detroit stuff. Yes, I get it. Yeah, but I thought he was great. And one more thing on him, boss, is what we always say. He may not start games, right? But he's going to finish some games for you.
Yeah.
And when the Pistons knew the Nuggets are going to intentionally foul late in this game, guess who's in the game? Guess who JB put in the game? Guess who JB trusted along with the other 4? Javonte Green. And guess who they fouled? Javonte Green. And he went to the line and calmly switched both of them.
Yeah, other clutch free
Like
throws.
it was nothing.
Yeah.
Just clutch play. That's what I said before. You can trust him at the end of the game not to hurt you. He's not going to commit bad fouls. He's not going to take bad shots. He's going to play team ball. Defensively, he's going to do something for you. He's just going to do some stuff that you're not expecting, right? So he just makes plays, and he's a positive impact, especially late in games, man. For him to come here in his first year here and already have this much trust says a lot about his IQ and how much these guys just trust him on the court and how much coach trusts him to do the right thing. So he deserves credit for that. Because he's his first year. This is the first year here. So I think he's definitely found a home here. Like the way they're trusting him already, I think he's found the home he's been seeking for all these years, boss.
Yeah, agreed. He's, and also, I don't know if you guys noticed from the last game, I just love this from Detroit for when, making him feel at home is the Detroit football club. Posted because him and Ron were bouncing the ball off of their heads in the last game, and they posted him like "Welcome to the team," and he reposted it to his story, and I was just like, "This has got as a guy who's seeking a home, this is what it stuff like that is just really cool." So
yeah, it's good for him for sure. I'm happy for him. He deserves it.
Yeah, same.
All right, boss. Let's go to our last player of this game, and that is none other than Dog Pound Senior, Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew. Tonight, guys, to finish with 11 points on 3 for 7 overall, all of 1 from 3, 5 for 6 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and a block in 23 minutes. So pretty efficient from him as well. What'd you see from Isaiah Stewart tonight, boss?
Beef stew. Well, first of all, so him and Val were getting into it last game. I think that's what carried over this game and why Val headlocked him. For me, I'm just like, if Stu did that to someone, he'd be a flagrant 2. Come on, but whatever. That kind of got me. I was like almost embarrassed because like I like Val, here on the Nuggets. So I'm like,
that's why I asked you. Like, is this regular for him?
Don't be doing it. So he's no, but again, like I remember, like I saw him and Val get into it last week in Denver. So I think it was just very over.
But as far as like watching him since he's been with,
no,
I didn't know if that was his thing or not.
Frustration thing there. Look, he made his free throws early, which was huge. Yeah. In the third, he had a big offensive rebound. That one led to the dunk and 3 to grow the lead back. He had a block on Watson. That's what I wanted last time. Woo! Yay! And then in the fourth, he had a really nice pass to JD for a dunk. Again, JD had fed him at one time, and he fed JD back. So they just looked really well together. I love, he's kind of in the 8-point to 11-point range when he's coming off the bench. But it's just nice to see him in the stocks column again. He attempted that 1-3. It was a little off. But I also am just very proud of him for after that foul scuffle for walking away. Because we talked about the tech stuff and, no, it doesn't carry over into playoffs, but we don't want him to. He has 11 and you get 16 years suspended, and we don't know when that will fall, where we're going to be at, if it's going to be in kind of playoff mode of keeping our 1 seed, stuff like that.
I think Stu low-key watching the show, but go ahead.
Yeah, hi Stu.
Just talked about it.
but I think he's going to be I'm just proud of him there, and it just continues to get better. It's just so nice to have just such amazing bigs to rely on. They can play with each other. They can come in for each other. And they were those two together were giving the Denver Nuggets issues. Like problems, again, Jokic and Val aren't in a lot together, and they definitely didn't look as cohesive as Duren and Stu are, because Duren and Stu have been doing this now for a while. And he was the first guy off the bench for Tobias, because you've talked about wanting to see him in a starting lineup, and he was the first guy off the bench for Tobias, so we got to see that lineup with him in there. So.
Yep. By the way, this is hilarious. Kenyatta says, "Can you stew?" That's hilarious.
I love that.
That boy cook. Yeah, no, look, listen. If I were to tell you, like, if you hadn't seen this game, and I just told you that, you're like, "What happened in the game?" Like, man, you're like, "What?" I'm like, "Let me tell you, man. Somebody hard foul Stu and put him in the headlock and just kind of like try to throw him to the ground." And you, what are you thinking he did? Retaliatory. Like, you're not thinking he just walked away,
or that he did something heroic. He didn't either. Yeah,
but you're just thinking at minimum attack from Stu in that situation. You're probably thinking he got ejected. He probably went and tried to chase him down. Nah, like LeBron James. Nah, he didn't do any of that. He just laughed and walked away. That just shows the mental growth that we've been looking for. I know he still gets some here and there, but he's not going to allow himself, I don't think at this point, to be in over exaggerated or something blown way out of proportion and it's now out of control. I don't think he's going to allow that anymore. He just seems, he'll get chippy. You know, I set the tone, don't care about no tech, of course. But it's like he's not going to hurt his team in a way where we're losing him for multiple games and he's suspended. And I think he understands now he has to conduct himself in a different way now.
Absolutely.
It's not just about him anymore. And it's not just about his matchup. It's about the team now. So that told me a lot. When he just laughed it off and walked away, I was like, wow. After that, boss, I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't have cared what he did in this game after that.
Yeah.
If he shot terribly, I wouldn't have cared. That alone, in this particular game, to me, was the growth that I think we've been hoping to see from him. So I gotta give him credit just for conducting in that moment, in the heat of the moment, where he's been multiple times in his career, he's reacted very differently. So now he's making a concerted effort to not hurt his team in that way. That's important.
And JD, I'm not even mad at him for coming to his defense because that's what Stu does
for
guys
sure.
like
For
Ron.
sure.
So, you know, they're going to say, hey, we'll get it for you, buddy. Because they understand, you know, that, you know, it's, first of all, Stu's putting the team first when he walks away like that. But they're not going to sit there and just let that happen either. And again, it seemed unprovoked. I think it was just from last game. And, you know, maybe some talking and stuff like that, but it wasn't anything, you know, JD coming to his defense was totally validated as well. I'm not worried about JD getting 16 texts. So again, just like we said with Duncan Robinson, that's fine. Spread it around. We love it. So I just thought that was huge, just to give that respect back to Stu as well, because he's always going to do that for his teammates.
100%. So it's kind of like we say with coach, like when you know you have a coach, if you get fouled, get hacked, and there's no call, and it happens multiple times, it's so much easier for you to just walk away when you know your coach is about to get up into him and let him know, give him a mouthful, give him an earful. Like when you know your coach is going to bat for you, as opposed to them not doing that, and now you feel you got to do it for yourself. Now you're out of the game. You're not even focused on the game. You're focused on the ref. You're focused on the emotion of what just happened, and you're distracted. So I think in the same way, you got to show that toughness for your dog, right? That's just what you do. We're built on being a tough team, right? JD doesn't get a lot of technical fouls, so when he does, it's warranted, right? JD's one of those dudes you don't like. JD's one of those, like, he doesn't want to fight, but if you decide to fight him, you're gonna regret it. That's what it is with JD. He's not looking for it, but if you bring it to him, okay, let's do it. So I love that they backed him up like that. That's what you absolutely have to do, because if you don't, what's that gonna tell them?
Right.
Oh, if we can bully him and try to get it, then he'll feel he doesn't have any. And then if I'm ejected and he's gone, that's a fair trade. We'll take that.
Yeah.
Right. But when you got teammates who are to back you up, like, nah, bro, we ain't going for that here, bro. Chill. Like it just changes the whole complexity mentally of the game. It does. So that's important. That's very important that he did that. I'm happy he got that tech. Legit.
Yeah. Same. And again, just to show the respect back to Beef, because we've seen him, even I think it was just like in the past month with Ron, he's come to Ron's defense. Like it's just who Stu is. So yeah.
100%. And but Stu overall I thought was just really good in this game. Even though in the second half we did see Jokic knock down some threes, they were all with Stu right there.
But it's Jokic
right there,
like
on Jokic. Yeah, like he was.
Seen him throw the craziest shots up.
Right. And
the fact that we force him into normal threes, you know, like it's just
I just like that they were there. They met him there. He had to shoot over them. There's a few of one of them, like he made it. Stu couldn't got any closer to blocking the shot without blocking the shot.
Right.
And then when Stu was like, wow, That was
Well,
great. Like you saw him like respect, like okay.
that's
Okay,
like the
good shot.
Denver announcers too. They even said he shot that over beef stew, and that's a compliment. Like that's
Exactly.
a compliment when they're like he got that. Just like when you hear guys be like, "Oh, they got a dunk over beef stew." It's a compliment because it's hard to do.
Mhm.
That's why it's a compliment. So
And that just
he
shows you
did
he
make
can
it
get it
tough.
done at either end of the court too. When they're
Yeah.
responding like that to a score from the perimeter, we know in the paint that's going to be the reaction. But in the perimeter, it just shows you he can get it done and he's respected anywhere on the court. Go ahead.
Yeah, and we've talked about it too with the two big lineup. Sometimes it's fallen through a little bit, but this game it was so clean and nice. Is that when you do have someone like Stu or Duran on the perimeter, you have the other guy down low, and that's why they were able to find each other. It's why we were able to get offensive rebounds. Why we were able to get defensive rebounds. Like tonight, the movement was just fantastic. And again, it probably just goes back to Ron, talking about the communication tonight. They just look really clean.
Right. The communication.
Mhm.
And you know how like, we were talking earlier about how different Pistons, switching roles on certain sets and stuff like that. We saw that with JD and Stu, and you mentioned it earlier, but I want to highlight it because in the first half we saw JD catch it at the free throw line out of the double team, and Stu was under the rim, and he got fed for that bounce pass for that. That's where he actually got fouled by Valanciunas. But we saw JD to Stu, two-man action in the paint. Second half it was the opposite. We saw Stu, catching at the free throw line and finding JD bounce pass for a dunk. So once again, just that unpredictability. It's easier to defend teams when you know certain guys are going to do certain things.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. You can kind of get comfortable and kind of see it before it happens. But when you got different guys, when they're switching, when he's cutting to the rim and he's catching off the catch, you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And it's so unpredictable and hard to game plan for. I just love that this team is just having different guys doing different things, running the same plays. It could be the same play, looks uniform, just different person doing it. That makes you very hard to guard. So that was one of the pluses for sure between those two guys. Go ahead.
And just real quick, just for Duran and Stu to just combined only have one turnover, it was Duran. Like,
wow,
it's hard in the paint when there's Watson and Val and Jokic. Like, there are guys to meet you there, and they did have, again, Stu had some nice cuts for Cade to find him, for multiple guys to find him. Duran was down there trying to get his shot. So that's just huge too, of just taking care of the ball and making sure you have a hold on it when there's three guys around you, and whether getting the shot up, and whether it's getting the foul call or even if you miss, like, you're not giving the ball up easy. They made literally nothing easy tonight.
That's the key, and that's how you want to play. That's how you want to play. So I loved it. I totally agree with you. So boss, that's all I have on that. We are going to now pivot the conversation and get to something that I know you guys are all looking for. Go ahead.
I need to use the washroom. But do you want to talk about the poll? Do you want to visit the poll while I do that?
Let's do that. Let's do that. You do your thing.
I will be back.
Do your thing. All right, for sure. All right, guys, let's see what this poll talking about. So as far as who gets the belt for this game, you guys say Duncan Robinson at 40%, Cade Cunningham at 35%, JD at 15%, and Nassar at 10%. I could have saw this going either way, man. Like, I thought Duncan played one of his best games of the year, so I do get it. Like, he just looked to be in flow and in rhythm completely and not afraid to get it up. So I'm not mad at that. I just thought the way Cade played, though, was just very, I don't know. He just really just had command of this game. He just had really good command of this game. Yeah, or JD, because we don't win this game without his presence in the paint. But I just love the way Cade commanded the game, man. He was very deliberate. This was like last game. This was a game he wanted to go ahead and get. He wanted to show this team that we are on their level. And I thought he did a really good job of that. So I'm not mad at any of them. Just kind of like thinking back to the game, I wouldn't have been mad to see Cade get the belt. I just really thought his command of this game was just great. So we'll see. Crutch said, Duran's defense stuck out to me, man. I'm sorry that needs to be taught. You know what? That's a great point, too. We talked about his conditioning, and I think that's a big part of why he's committed. He didn't look tired when he was playing to me. I saw Jokic looking like he was tired. I saw Valanciunas looking like he was tired. JD was ready to go. Mm-hmm. He was ready to go. That's a great sign of just his conditioning and taking care of his body. What were you going to say?
Oh, no. I was just going to say same, because I've been a critic of his defense in the past, and it's just really picked up lately. And it was something that was needed today a lot. And he had a lot of, I didn't see him, throw his arms down a lot, not swat a lot of things. It just looked good. Mm-hmm. Just looked good.
Yeah. So we'll leave it there, but we'll find out later who got it. All right, guys. Now, we know you guys are sticking around for this particular subject, and we're going to get to it. Let's talk, man. We talked a little bit earlier, guys, about the news of the trade. Jaden Ivey is now a Chicago Bull, and Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric are now Detroit Pistons as of right now. So that was, what time did it happen? Like this afternoon, 3 or 4 o'clock. Can't remember exact time. But it was reported, guys, by Shams Charania. And here is the actual tweet. This came in earlier today. It says, just in, Chicago, Minnesota, and Detroit have agreed to a multi-team deal that sends Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. to the Bulls and Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric to the Pistons, sources tell ESPN. Detroit also receives a 2026 first-round protected swap from Minnesota. So before we get into any reactions, boss, I want to play what Coach Bickerstaff had to say about this when he was asked about it pregame. So let's check that out first.
It's tough, but what we try to do, and this is where I think, the building of relationships matters, is like you don't wait till times are tough to have conversations with people, because by that time it's too late. So trying to build relationships with people and have communication with people, all throughout the season and the summer, makes times like this a little less difficult. It's not going to be easy, right? It's just, and I don't think a lot of times outside looking in, people see the real world implications of what it means to guys at this time of year. It's one thing if you are asking to be moved, right? That's one thing. But when it happens, typically you like where you are, right? Typically you've got a nice setup, you're comfortable, your family's there, kids are in school, like so many different things that, you have to think about if it does happen on the fly. So it's not an easy time of year, and we understand that and try to be sensitive to that. But again, trying to create a place where guys feel comfortable expressing their feelings and having those conversations is what we've tried to do.
Okay, so a lot there, boss. Did you have any initial reaction to what JB had to say? He didn't really get into specifics, but it's clear what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
You
go ahead and go first, because you've had this is my first time seeing it, so I'm still gathering my thoughts. If you want to talk about what your thoughts were.
So one thing that he said is that if a guy wanted to leave, it'd be different. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like it may have been possible that he at least knew this might have been a possibility from what he was saying, which could it could lend to the body language. Who knows? We don't know, right? But that's a possibility. But I do think it was important what he said about how if a guy is asking to leave, that's different. Mm-hmm. So it didn't sound like from this situation that Jaden was asking to be traded.
Yeah.
It sounded like he wanted to be here. It was just more so of a circumstantial thing. I think the timing of his injury just really played a major part with the time frame of where this team is trying to get to and when they're trying to get there, just the trajectory, and him having to play catch up with the team, their mindset, their winning mentality, the culture, all that stuff, trying to just, because he's been away from these guys for a while. As far as like when you're in street clothes, like you're in the game, but you're not really in the game. You're not in the huddles. You're not as vocal. It's just different. You're not sitting in the same spot. You just don't really feel part of the team. It's kind of like if your team is doing a huddle, and everybody's going like this, and you're 20 feet away, and you're like, all right, cool. It's not that, but it's kind of like that. Like you're there, but you're not there. So right. I just think as far as from the cultural standpoint, boss, and him trying to get himself right, it was just a perfect storm with the situation. I think if Cole Anthony does not dive into his legs like he did last year, we're having a completely different conversation. I really do think that. So that's my initial thought on what JB had to say. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think it is just a very basic answer. I haven't seen it yet, but I saw a quote real quick that Asar was asked about it after the game, and he's hurting. Look, this wasn't easy, and this is JB's second year with JI. He basically only had barely half of a season with him last year before he got injured. But JI has been with us through a lot. He was here through the Cade injury. I'd say, it does bother me a little bit when people talk about what did JI do. A lot. He loved this city. From the moment he was drafted, Tears, he just wanted to do his best, and he did. He gave us so much. But you could tell that after the injury, it was off. Something was wrong because JI's energy wasn't there like it used to be. Like, I immediately think of his game winner in Sacramento. I think about his game winner in Toronto last year. Like, he is just very, hyped and it's just hard to do and feel. So I just, JB can only speak to what he knows about JI for, reasons like what he's seen. But for Pistons fans that, you know, are out here saying that he's their favorite player, like me, it was more than that. It was the years that we were bad and he was reliable. It was the years that, you know, we struggled and he was still someone that we could count on, and still someone that came out and gave his best every day. And I'm excited for him to get a fresh start, because I do think that might be what he needs. Sometimes a change of scenery is beneficial and helpful. But yeah, JB answered it. We'll get more into it, because I know we're just talking about JB's perspective, but I completely see how it's just tough, and it is a business. And I'm not necessarily surprised that he was traded. I'm surprised for what he was traded for, but that's a different story that we'll talk about more. But yeah, I think JB understands, and I'm also really proud of this team, who I know felt the impacts. They're sad. They're sad to see their buddy. So I'm really proud of them. I had a little bit of a fear that they would come out flat tonight, just emotionally, because again, when you go through trials as a team, it's tough. And JI has been nothing but a great teammate, and so. It just hard all around. And like JB was just reiterating in a very nice way. And I'm sure he probably had more to say after. When you're about to start a game, you know, your mind's not really there. But I'm sure he'll have more comments for us to read post game.
I really liked what Eric had to say too. Whether you thought he was a good fit for this team, bad fit for this team, I understand both sides. I can respect all opinions on that. I can also admit that I firmly thought he was going to be a part of this team going forward. Right. I was very much confident in that, especially before the injury, when we saw the way he was looking, the way he was playing, the fact that him and Cade, it really hadn't played a lot of time together over these 4 years. Hasn't really played a lot of time together, unfortunately, because of Cade's injury, him getting benched for Killian Hayes, you know, the injury last year, just a lot of things that just happened that were just bad timing. Do I think he should still be part of this team? 100%. I'm not going to say I think a mistake was made. I'm just uncomfortable about it, because I'm just imagining him when he's healthy, full strength, and now the motivation he's going to have. That makes me uncomfortable for the Pistons. It makes me feel great for him, right? As a friend, you know, knowing him and his father and those things like that, it makes me feel great for him. For the Pistons, not so much. But I do think he should still be part of this team. I really do, especially considering the fact that we're in first place right now. Yeah. And the move that we made, in my opinion, doesn't really put us that much closer to where a lot of us wants to go, which was reassuring to hear Eric say there's probably more coming. So that makes sense, right? But here's my thing, and it's kind of what Eric said. I'm hearing a lot of only negative stuff. You know, a lot of just painting Jaden out to be his bad basketball player with no context. Does he have areas of weakness? Yeah, no doubt. You know, just like everybody else did on this team when JB got here. You know, from Cade, a lot of people were complaining about his conditioning, his ball security. They were complaining about, he had all these turnovers, and 10 turnovers is unacceptable. He's not a point guard, right? He had to deal with that. JD's motor wasn't always there. His defensive awareness wasn't always there. His polish offensively wasn't there. Asar's shooting hasn't been there. The offense is still slowly coming along, still kind of an issue. And Jaden has issues too. Like all of these guys of this young core have flaws. But it's just impossible to have this conversation without citing the fact that this dude broke his leg and missed nearly a year of basketball.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially coming off a season when he was, along with his other teammates, improving in their games, right? The players we see this year are not the play we saw last year as far as his young core. All of them have taken jumps. And Jaden was right there getting ready to take that jump last year. So I just feel that had he been given at least a year to return to that guy that we saw from last year, that we, would have seen him become a better version of that. I just hope the Pistons didn't make a move they're going to regret later. Like, I hope this isn't Chris Middleton 2.0, right? For those who remember, Chris Middleton was traded to the Bucks after his rookie season and became an all-star and a champion with them years later. And when Jaden is right, I think he has that all-star level talent, boss. I really do. So on one hand, like, I understand the purpose, the Pistons making moves, making this kind of move, considering the cap situation coming up, contract year, the depth of the roster. I get all that. I just don't hope it doesn't come back to bite the Pistons in the long run, because I still think that he's going to be a star in this league when he's fully healthy. And I was just hoping that Trajan Langdon, what he said about giving these guys time to grow. I was just hoping he was going to give them at least a year at
Right.
least a year when fully healthy to to kind of play together and just let him recover. But
Yeah.
they went in a different direction. It is what it is at this point.
And, and again, for me, I think I just kind of had a feeling it was coming. It just something seemed a little bit off with him, the minutes, his body language. I don't know. I had a feeling that I wanted to make it through this trade deadline to give him the offseason to recover. I really did. And Deuce and I prepared ourselves. There's a couple of you that have been anti-Ivy this whole time. I think it's pretty clear that you guys just wanted him off this team because I don't know how you can be happy with what we got back. That's why I think that there needs to be another move, because I'll tell you about Dario Saric. I actually went in on him last time, and he wasn't even on our team yet. He played in Denver, and he's not a good player. He's
been a lot of places.
He's not good, and so I don't think he brings anything to this team. Kevin Huerter, great shooter who's been declining for 2 years without getting injured. That was an argument I got in, or a discussion I got into some people about it when they're like, oh, Jaden Ivey, let's bring Eric up.
He's back. Y'all, this how y'all know he really want to talk about this, bro. That boy Rush Charm was like, I got more to say. I got more to say.
I had a few thoughts. I'm like, and another thing.
Here
I am.
But boss, real quick, finish your statement, boss, and I want to get back in here.
I'll finish my thoughts because I was just talking about how, some of these people that are in the comments saying I can sleep easier tonight. I'm thrilled about this trade. Great trade. Why? What do you love about Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric that makes you think that giving up because I think, again, Huerter, what I was saying about Huerter is that he was a great shooter. He's been declining the past 2 years without an injury. And here people are like, oh, well, maybe he just needs to change the scenery. Maybe we just need to give him time. Maybe this is what he needs. None of y'all could give that respect to Ivy. You're telling me you want Huerter to have time to get back into a three-point rhythm after 2 years of not shooting well, but you couldn't give that to Ivy, who, again, has been here, drafted here, who has done so much and been through the mud with us. So for me, and that's just my biggest thing. I wish Huerter the best of luck. If he does stick with us, I don't know, because again, we have a 16-man roster. Not only do we have to get it down to 15, we also are probably going to add Jenkins, which means we have to get down to 14.
Yep.
So 2 guys. So I'm just curious I hear a little bit of an echo, so hopefully I'm not echoing to you guys. But with Saric, I'm honestly hoping we waive him, and if we keep Huerter, I hope that he does get into a three-point shooting rhythm. I don't think he can do anything that Duncan can't, and I think that's just the biggest thing for me is that I thought that if we made a move, like Boston made one move, and it was bringing in Vucevic, and immediately again we were like, oh my God, like that makes them better. That Vucevic at center when they needed a center other than Keita makes them better. Ivy for Huerter and Saric. How does everyone that wanted to trade Ivy was like, we need to get someone better now. We need shooters now to go far in the playoffs now. This doesn't help us now. It has great off-season benefits, expiring contracts, salary, but it doesn't help us now. So why are people happy?
So real quick, the one thing I heard about Huerter was that he's a career 37% shooter. That's what J.I.'s been shooting better than that the last 2 years.
Yeah,
so,
and he's been shooting 30% this year.
31%.
I looked up his stats. 2 games in the past 10, he played 16 minutes and got no points. So
that's
on the
not
Bulls.
good. That's not good. But continue. Continue.
Man.
Have at it wherever you want.
I wanna piggyback off of what you said because I heard a little bit before I hop back on. What up, y'all? Appreciate y'all for letting me get back in. Appreciate it.
Yes, I need some more dubs in the chat. Some more dubs in the chat for E.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I think it's important to remember that, like you said, there's no such thing as a perfect basketball player. And it shouldn't take you being perfect for people to have more respect for what your production is for a team. I also think, unfortunately, we see a lot in sports now where, Deuce, we talk about this all the time, where people's takes get a little more out of control than they should, and then they spiral to where people are rewriting history. So when people are saying things like, his rim finishing is just not reliable, let's dig into the facts of that and take me out of it. Take my fandom out of it. Take Deuce out of it. Take Sarah out of it. Let's take the coaching perspective of what the Pistons used to do with Ivy in terms of rim finishing.
Facts.
Let's say I remember the Sacramento game, and I think it was the Indiana game as well. When the Pistons were down 2 possessions late in the game, it was 30 seconds, they were down 5. The Pistons used to run a play specifically for Ivy, where Cade would inbound the ball on the sideline. They would clear out space on the finishing rim, and they would throw the ball to Ivy on the other side of the court to take advantage of his speed to blow past his defender, and guess what, guys? Finish at the rim.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to take a quick three. They didn't have to rush a bad shot. They used to literally take advantage of his speed, his athleticism, and his rim finishing to do exactly that in getting quick layups and to preserve layups and bad shots. That's just a fact. Again, take my fandom out of it. I don't give a damn what y'all think about what I'm thinking. Take a look at what the coaching staff used to do. Oh, he can't play point guard and he can't run facilitating lineups. There were times where Cade Cunningham wasn't even on the floor. Rookie year, he was totally fine and comfortable growing into being a point guard, even when Cade was out in his 3rd season when he had the game winner, like Sarah mentioned, against Toronto. He was in those closing lineups in the 4th quarter. He was playing 30-minute stretches. He had games where he was the leading scorer and the focal point of this team. Deuce, again, we talk about this all the time, bro. What I love so much about what you do, Sarah, what you bring to this platform, and even my role as a beat reporter, I live and die for this position, y'all. I love Detroit sports more than anything in my life.
Facts.
But I understand that my takes, my views, my platform is not bigger than the program.
Exactly.
My fandom is not more important than the direction of this franchise. My takes, my selfish whatever is never going to be more important than the direction of this franchise. And sometimes you hear that a lot with a lot of different people. In Detroit media, outside media, I just think with fandom, it gets kind of nasty. And I think in this situation, it got way out of hand with this guy. Again, I don't care how good of a player you thought he was. The guy is battling back from an injury. He's had a different role, unfair circumstances, literally since he started as a rookie. Guy cried at draft day to be here. And you saw people basically cheerleading his demise without even mentioning the proper detail of what happened. Again, man, I remember getting back into Detroit sports media because I was so disgusted by Cade losing Rookie of the Year because of people's disingenuous narratives just taking a life of its own. And I think that's happening right now. And that really disgusts me with a lot of people that we see in the fandom, in media spaces. I just think he deserves a little bit better than that. Again, personal fandom aside, what he contributed, what he was excited to bring here, how he played with this team, and a lot of these narratives that just kind of got thrown out with these numbers that weren't really genuine, it created a life of its own, and I think we can do better in terms of telling that story, and that's why I love being on this platform so much, because Deuce and Boss tell it how it is without trying to be bigger than the program. That has to be number one with what we do, and I promise y'all, as a beat reporter, as someone that represents this community, I'm never going to be bigger or try to be bigger than this program, ever.
Yeah.
We are all in this together, and I think it's important to remember that for real.
I think that's a great point, bro. I think that's an awesome point. I couldn't have put that better myself because, sometimes you see that. Sometimes you see it's like where, it's more so about predictions being correct or validity in the position that's opposed to the team just doing well. Right, because for me, it's all about the team at the end of the day. Like it's been plenty of times when I've made predictions. I just said it tonight. I said I thought he was going to be part of this team for a long time. It didn't work out that way, and that's cool. Nobody's right 100% of the time. Right. But yeah, I don't want the narrative to be years from now. We're looking at J.I.'s career here that he wasn't good enough, or that he got kicked to the curb because he just didn't want to be here, or he wasn't a good enough player, and the Pistons weren't going to win the championship without him. Like that's not going to be the narrative. So I'm glad that you brought that up because it's kind of important to take a step back sometimes and kind of just look at what it really is. Go ahead, boss.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it great. I think most of the chat agrees with you as well. We know what we know, but we're not GMs. We're not coaches. We don't know. We only know as much as we can know. But again, to just erase what's happened, to sit here in the chat and be like, what has J.I. ever done for us? That tells me that either you genuinely are a hater and can't look beyond an injury year, or you haven't been following the Pistons. That's you just gave up on them and you're back on when we're good. That's what that tells me.
Bandwagon.
So it's just, yeah, I have really nothing more to say about in terms of my, where other people are coming from, because right now we are getting a ton of support in the chat. I think, a few outliers, but it sounds like everybody here is understanding that Ivy was a big part. There's a reason that Ivy is the favorite player to many, myself included, and there's a reason that he will be missed. And there's a reason why this trade is frustrating for a lot of people too.
Yeah, man, it's just a tough situation. At this point, as Pistons fans, you want the Pistons to move forward. I'm curious now what the moves are going to be thereafter, if they're going to be more moves, just so we have like some closure on the situation. Like, okay, at least this makes more sense. Not saying this doesn't make sense, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to me right now. I feel like we could have got a lot more back for what we were trying to do. So if there are more moves on the way, I'm just sitting back and waiting to see what that's going to be and see how that can make this team better. But, that's where I'm at right now. Go ahead, bro.
That kind of goes to the point that you were making before. And people were even having this conversation like on social media, on spaces and whatnot, being patient with, oh, maybe he can get his 3-pointer back, or oh, maybe Horder can, become that that developmental piece that they need for their floor spacing. Where was that respect and that patience for the guy that was just here? Like, for all we know, Horder don't even want to be here. We have no idea what the situation is. I feel like we at a time right now, and I'm not trying to get on a soapbox, but I think we just at a time right now where people just lose the fact of empathy. Like, I just think people don't have the ability to kind of see outside of what someone's circumstances are. And to me, in my opinion, we just saw it with his teammates. Like, Asar, when he snapped his leg, Asar was crying on the bench. There were like 3-4 guys crying. I remember talking to the guys in the post game after. They had just beat Orlando in a tough game. They didn't give a damn about the win. Everybody was sad about seeing their dog lying there, knowing his career was about to be changed. His life is about to be changed. And I think, yes, a lot of people saying in the chat, it's a business. Of course it's a business. But we should also have some perspective of what comes with that business as well. Yep. The human aspect should matter. If it were you, how would you want people to talk about you?
Right.
If it were your friend, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your mama, how would you want them to talk about you? And again, it's the business. It is what it is. If he has to go, he has to go. I just think we can offer a little bit better respect than we've seen from some people in some areas. Like, oh, Ivy's out of here. What we throwing on the grill? Like, bro, are we really doing that right now? Like, y'all acting like he was like,
you heard that, bro?
Yeah, bro. I got some reckless stuff on my timeline right now and in my mentions.
Yeah.
They took me like, oh, you're in shambles right now. Like, bro, I'm cool. I feel bad for him. Exactly. Me personally, I'm fine. But what he's going through right now is probably way heavier than anything else that y'all talking about. And y'all doing cartwheels excited about this. I just think that's weird behavior, man. In a time where we could offer a little bit of empathy and understanding, people are celebrating as if this is a good thing. I just don't understand that.
No, real quick, the two things can be true at once. It can be a business and it can be hard. It can be heartbreaking.
100%, yes.
It can be two things at once. Again, J.I., like his mother, Niall, was a part of the Shock. His grandfather was part of the Lions. He was thrilled to be in Michigan. Now he has to think about who knows if he's staying in Chicago with their 8-guard lineup.
Right.
But so now he has to move his wife and 3 kids and move away. Like what now? What? And again, this is a guy who is emotional, who wears his emotion on his sleeve. It's what I like about him. One of my favorite things about J.I. is his passion. The ability to cry. And again, just like the other guys we're talking about, I didn't catch it all, Eric, but it sounded like Asar had some words to say to him, about him post game and everything too. If you want to share some of that, but I think that's just the whole point. Is like don't come in here and tell me that you're not going to lose sleep tonight, because there's a lot of us that are. I'm sad. I'm sad.
Again, yeah. Vincent Goodwill, shout out to Vinny. He asked about the trade. And it wasn't even like it was basketball talk involved in it, but you could tell that there was a true brotherhood formed within that core and within that locker room. Like he said, that's my brother. I love J.I. It's been a tough stretch for him. But we're going to be rooting for him. We know greatness is going to follow him wherever he goes. That's what he said word for word. And he said, we're always going to support him. He said, I texted him, as soon as we got the news, we've been in communication when he was rehabbing and going through his, circumstances. Like the guys were inviting him over to play video games and talking to him on the phone. And you saw Jalen Duren warming up in his jersey. Like, I feel like That kind of stuff, again, if this was Miles Bridges that was getting booted off, yeah, we could all be having the same vibe and energy. Okay, let's get this dude out of here because we know what he stands for and what he's on. Jay Ivey's one of the nicest dudes in the world, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, again, like Sarah said, it could be a business, but it could also be a level of empathy and respect. If you asking questions of what did Ivy do? Well, you clearly haven't been paying attention for the past several years, and that's your problem. I can't rewind the tape back for you, and I'm not trying to. But if anyone is sitting here just happy about like the departure and like the emotion behind this, and acting like Dog was like just this detrimental player, again, did he have holes that he could have fixed? Of course, everybody does in the league. There's no such thing as a perfect player. We just saw Jokic. He's a phenomenal player. He's not a great defender. There are areas of his game that he can work on. Everybody has holes that they can work on. I just think this notion of he was just so detrimental and he just had to go and had no fit and he was just bringing his team down. Like, we all know that's BS. Like, that's just not true if you've been paying attention to the game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it just feels to me like people have just forgotten because you weren't hearing this narrative about him needing to be traded last year before he got hurt.
Or again, to my point, that they hopped back on to watch the Pistons after they got good again.
Right.
Maybe you weren't around for the past 5. Maybe you saw Katie get injured and you clocked out till this season.
I guess it's just weird to me. That's just the strange part to me. When he was playing well last year, it was a lot of people saying he's going to be an all-star, maybe next year. So he has the injury.
Most improved conversations.
Most improved player conversation. So he had the injury, and now they're complaining as if the injury didn't happen. What changed? That's what changed. So it's just crazy how we're not being met, or we're not hearing that context included because they weren't complaining about his play last year before the injury. So it's just kind of strange to me. It's just kind of strange to me. So that's all I got on it, man. Like, this wasn't going to be no roundabout conversation. Because it is what like you said, it's a business, bro. It is what it is. He understands that. His father, I talked to his father briefly tonight. I'm not going to mention what was said, but we talked. We had a conversation about it, right? He spent some time with him today. They're going through it. They're getting through it, situation. But it is what it is, So at this point now, it's hope things work out for him for the best. I hope whenever he comes back here, when he's fully healthy, he doesn't drop 40 or 50 on us, something crazy. Because he's kind of built like that. Like, he's not gonna forget stuff like that. He's always gonna have love for the city, but that's gonna be on his mind, right? I know that for sure. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how things play out for him and his sake.
I'm a fan of his for life, and so I am excited for him to prove people wrong. What you guys are gonna come back and be like, we should have never gotten rid of him. I know it. And I'm not going to say it's going to happen next year. I'm going to say it's going to happen when he fully recovers from his injury and is feeling like himself again. And then whatever else you want to say about Ivy too, because then I would like to talk about what we got for him. So
Okay. So yeah, I know, Eric, you were saying. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. When you get in there.
I was gonna say the saddest part is it now ruins one of the hardest bars that you've ever created, dog. Jay didn't have you on the way, kick that boy a rock. That I love that line. When you put that up in the song, electrified in the air, that Detroit shot. That shit was hard, bro. I love that line. And now it's just unfortunately, in the wind. But hey, you still got it in there, man. It's all good.
It had its time. They played it. They played it, for the warm ups. So I'm cool. He got a chance to hear it, so I'm cool with that.
For sure.
I appreciate that plug.
Of course.
Yeah. Anything else on that, boss? Before we pivot to what this might look like now going forward for the Pistons?
No. Just best of luck to Ivy, and I know. Yeah. No time for the haters. I hope.
We'll revisit it at some point again. Sure.
I do hope that if he stays in Chicago, wherever he goes, whether it's with Chicago or else, that he does get to thrive, because that's just something I wanted from him, that he gets his minutes and gets to thrive and continue his NBA career.
Agreed, man. So let's move to what's next now for the Pistons, right? We know that they made the move.
Frozen a little bit, dude.
Yeah, I see.
I'm frozen. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Hold up. Am I still frozen?
There you go.
No,
You're good.
My bad. Let's move now to what's next for this team. We talked about the move. Eric, you were saying you don't think the Pistons are done. What do you guys think is potentially on the horizon? I mean, I know it's fresh. I know it's early. We're just kind of spitballing, just kind of talking. What do you think? Because I didn't think initially that Trajan was done just based on what the move looked like. What went out, what came back. I know his value wasn't at an all-time high because of the injury, but just knowing Trajan, it seemed like he would have made a move to get us something more either now or in the future as far as assets are concerned.
Mhm.
So either you guys have any hunches or any ideas as to which direction you think the Pistons might go in, or even what you want to see?
For me, it's just more, again, the fact that we have a 16 roster now, we have to get down to, I'm assuming Jenkins is going to be signed. It's something that JB has reiterated as well. So this means we have basically 17 guys right now. So we have to cut 2 people. I'm hoping that, straight up hoping that Dara gets waived. I can't stand, nothing.
Bro, she can't stand.
He was on the
Dario
Nuggets
Saric.
years ago. They literally brought him in to help, and I never saw him play.
Yeah.
But then Herter, again, these are expiring contracts, so it just sounds like something that could be packaged later. I was a little bit surprised too with the return for JI was a little low because of his injury, but that's why I was like maybe expecting a package like JI and someone else to get there. I just don't understand, right now this trade looks okay for off-season moves in terms of dropping contracts, having money, packaging into a bigger trade for someone bigger in the off season, like we predicted would happen. It's like a bigger move later, a smaller move now.
Yep.
But that's how this smaller move doesn't to me make sense for our goals to go farther in the playoffs. Like tonight we played really well with the lineup we have. And so, maybe, Dars does get waived and then Herter's on, but he's just like a backup. Who knows if we'll even utilize these guys. But for me, I'm hoping that we turn it into something else, at least a little bit more reliable. We had a lot of guys on the TPE. We inquired about some guys. There's just a lot of guys out there that would be like, hey, that's a shooter that's reliable. And I can't say that about either of these guys. So that's just where I'm at, especially even the Bulls. Like they had a couple, like Ayo DeSumo was right there. Why these guys is kind of why I'm just like interested. So I'm hoping that it is just a move for something. I'm hoping that Trajan has something else in the works. Or else I'm just like, it does just seem a little bit unlike him. I don't love it.
This is the first splash I think you could say we've seen from him at this point, right?
That's true.
So
true.
we're kind of learning more about him. We know he made some moves at the deadline last year, but this is the first big move, especially with our core, somebody of note that he was under his umbrella when he got here, that he's really made a big move on. So we learned a little bit about Trajan today.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
What do you think, Eric? Because you mentioned it too, that you don't think that they're done.
Yeah, I definitely don't think they're finished. I think he's still going to operate under his timeline and his plan. I remember asking him last season when they acquired Dennis Schroeder, they don't make moves based on what everybody else is doing. And I think based on the moves that we've seen thus far with what Boston's done, adding Vucevic, Cleveland drunk, adding James Harden, I don't understand that at all.
Did you want to comment on that real quick before?
Why?
Go ahead.
Why is literally the answer. I don't understand what that's going to do. That seems like a very lateral move. I'm a fan of Garland. I think he does, to an extent, fit, even though he's a smaller guard. Next to another small guard, I think he did fit with what they were looking for. I think he did a good job of raising the offensive floor of guys like Evan Mobley and Jared Allen around him. I don't understand why people keep taking chances on James Harden. Like I just don't get it. Like the numbers don't
anywhere.
Yeah, he's not happy anywhere. The numbers don't move me for what he does because when you need him most, they crumble, and when he's unhappy, he wants out. So I don't really understand the point of what Cleveland did, and I think the Pistons are looking at it and they're just going, okay, that's fine. We'll be cool. So I do think they're going to make another move. I think they have I think maybe between $8-9 million left in the trade exception. I think they are still looking for like a marginal move. I don't foresee a huge splash coming at this point, even though it seems like a lot of other teams in the East are trying to, jockey around. And they understand what the circumstances are. The Pistons aren't chasing anybody. They're chasing you, and they just watched you beat the Denver Nuggets. The Pistons look like one of the best teams, if not the best team in basketball right now. So they have been able to, granted to Trajan's credit, while yes, I do agree with you, Sarah, in terms of questioning the value and the return of this acquisition, he is, fortunately for his sake, working with the benefit of hey, I got Malik Beasley on this super cheap deal and squeezed
Yeah.
out the most out of that. We brought in Javonte Green, where some people don't even know who he is, and we've made him a household name as a do-it-all, work-off guy. Dennis Jenkinson is another prime name. So to his credit, he's fortunately working with the ability to say, I can do what I want, and even if people don't understand it yet.
Yeah.
But I do think the questioning is worrisome. Again, I don't love the acquisition of a guy like Horder. I just don't think he provides much of an upgrade for what you need, because the main goal for them should be aiming for a championship. Not like, I don't care about the balancing the books conversation for next season, bro. The goal right now should be, how can you get to the chip? Because you have a great window to make that happen right now. You don't sit and rest on that to balance your finance books for next year. Like, I don't care nothing about that at all. So again, I think he does have the ability to be as patient as he wants to be, but I do think the question marks are absolutely warranted, based on what you got in return for even the guy with Ivy in the situation. I don't think this is that makes sense because he offers this. I don't see that in Sarge or Horder's game. So, we'll see what happens, over the next couple of days. But again, I think the question marks are warranted to an extent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they're not needle movers, either of those guys, in my opinion. Go ahead, boss.
I just wanted to reiterate that I didn't mean that, that's just makes me, I think that's why it's throwing me off, is because Trajan's moves so far have been so like good. Like he's gotten the most for the for little. Right. And that's what I was expecting, I guess, because it feels like we got worse. We did, like you said, we didn't improve. And I'm more so, this is the evaluation year. I'm more so like, get us farther than last year, continue to grow this team. We don't need to rush to a championship by making a huge move, but we definitely could we definitely could bring someone on that could benefit us more so than I think that these guys can, for around the same price. And so that's just what I'm thinking, definitely in terms of like waiving and stuff. And I could see us maybe waiving like Saric and Jones and keeping Herter and the other guys. But again, like, everybody that was pushing for an Ivy trade wanted him traded to make this team better. And so it's like, how can you just be happy with this? Because it doesn't. It doesn't. It's the roster tonight. That's what's good. Like, and I don't think Herter does anything to help that. I really don't. And again, you could be like, but he was such a good shooter. Again, 2 years ago, who knows? And they're like, once he works off of a good point guard, Josh Giddey is right behind Cade in assists. Yep. So what do you mean? Right. I'm not calling Josh Giddey Cade level, but Josh Giddey is not by any means a bad point guard.
Good point.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to hear he'll work better. We'll work better with spacing, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's just why it's just reassuring to hear that there likely is more things coming that we just can't see, and maybe patience is just going to be needed at this point. So that's kind of what I'm waiting on. I like the fact that Trajan Langdon is just going to do what he's going to do. He doesn't seem somebody to be easily influenced by outside noise. No. It's kind of like, just wait on it. You'll be happy later. You're welcome. Thank me later, kind of thing. That's kind of what I get from him, and I'm cool with that, man. I'm cool with that, because prior to this move, I really wasn't upset with anything that he had done with this team. Everything seemed to make sense with regard to his plan that he talked about, as far as, evaluating this year. I think that gets missed a lot because, and I agree, if the championship is there to go get, you go get it if you don't compromise your future. But I think so many people were just so excited about this team. And I think people got a little bit anxious with this team as far as the moves they should make, even if some of the suggestions are reckless, because they forgot that this is an evaluation year because of how far along we are. We're way ahead of schedule. We're way ahead of schedule right now. So I think that part of it just had people, with all these reckless trade rumors and things like, let's go get it now by any cost, at any cost. Let's not forget the mission. Like he said, he's not budging on what the mission is, regardless of what it looks like. So I just think that's something that it's important to have a GM that is very firmly entrenched in what he believes, in what he wants to do. He's not going to get, sidetracked or thrown off by circumstances around him. He's still, like, one thing he said is that the plan for them is still to be opportunistic, but not aggressive. Opportunistic, but not aggressive. So he's still just sticking to that plan. So at this point, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait to see whether it comes 2 days from now or in the next day and a half, or whether it comes in the offseason. I'm just going to wait and see what he ends up doing. Go ahead.
I just want to say, it's not breaking news, but it was made official. So it's not going to be an extended trade. It was made official. So that means that we would have to waive. I'm guessing that we're keeping Herter and we're waiving Saric and someone else. That's my guess.
I don't see Sarge playing because he's played like 5 games this year.
That's why I think he's going to be waived, and that's waived with the Nuggets too. And he's not like he doesn't provide anything. He's not an upgrade to anything. He's not
He wouldn't be the play.
I would rather Wu get more minutes, Chaz get more minutes, like Nick,
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say that because when it's made official, I think they can't just like trade him again, right? I think once it's made official, it's like, don't they have to hold on to him? Or am I wrong on that?
I'm not sure about that. I ain't gonna cap you. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I'm not
they
sure how that
might,
works.
but I got to double check on it as well.
Yeah.
Because
But yeah, Sarge isn't gonna play. He's played like 8 minutes this year. In the 5 games he's played, he's averaging like 1 point. So
So, but I just wanted to say that just because, that just means that it's not going to be extended because usually it might turn into like, oh, and with this and this, they're going to move them. So they did make it official, but we'll still see. Okay, so he can be traded. What does aggregated mean in basketball?
Like combined with somebody else. Yeah. Is that what he's saying?
Okay. And then anybody can be waived at any point, but then we still have to pay them if they're waived, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna. Tom got to pay him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious about that too.
What are you guys' thoughts on the pick swap? Because that's kind of the last piece of this. I know a lot of people were excited about the pick swap, but just the breakdown of the pick swap, in layman's terms, we get the better of the picks between ours and the T-Wolves first round pick next year. So we're gonna have a better record. So they're gonna have the better draft pick unless something happens that's not supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like as of right now, I think we get the second best record in the league. So we'd be like 29th pick at this point. I think the Wolves are 5th in the West, so that's like 25th pick for them.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, the pick swap is just good for 4 spots up. It's still late in the first round. So
And
that's not really much. That part of the deal didn't have me excited because both of these teams are good teams with the picks that are getting involved in the pick swap. So yeah.
And I did see it was, and I don't know all the picks jargon. I'm like, oh, we're 28th pick, yay! That's how I go into the draft. But when it says 1 through 19th protected, that means that we can't go lower than 19, right?
I think it was 1 through 19, then we don't get it. Right.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what it's 1 through 19 protected. So that's only going to happen. But I mean, I do think that the incoming class is fun. But again, like this wasn't like it was a first round, not a second round, but it wasn't like a huge, like you said, a huge move, just a few spaces up, which could be beneficial. Like we'll get the guy we want a little earlier. But that's just it. So
the last thing I was thinking about, guys, is we talked about it. We know they're not done, but I'm just looking at maybe from Trajan Langdon's perspective, maybe he's planning something for the offseason.
That's what I'm thinking.
Let's say he does do something here, I still think he may do something else in the offseason. Just looking at the Pistons cap situation. So we know that this is about expiring contracts. Kevin Huerter's in the last year of his deal. Sarge is in the last year of his deal. Kevin Huerter makes $16 million this year. This is the last year of his 4-year deal. I think it's like $65 million, something like that. But I think his $16 million is going to come off the books this year. Dario's $5 million is going to come off the books this year. So here's the thing. That's like $21 million there. So we also know Tobias Harris' contract is up after this year. He makes $26 million this year. So between those three, that's $47 million that could potentially come off the books, right? Mm-hmm. And then you factor in too, I'm not saying this should happen, but you factor into the fact that Duncan Robinson, 3-year deal, $48 million, $16 a year, only this year is guaranteed. Mm-hmm. Right. So not saying they should do anything with that, but I'm just saying the option is there for them to be looking at potentially $64 million freed up after this year if all those things happen. So maybe that's something to think about too when it comes to Trajan Langdon's thought process.
Is LeVert in that too? Isn't he only 1 year protected? Guaranteed? No? Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. His is guaranteed, I believe. 2 years.
And that's like we do have to sign JD. Asar, I think, is a restricted free agent, right? Is that AT? That's a restricted free agent
next year.
Yeah. So there's just some other things. And again, like we talked about how there were some guys that weren't going to be available at trade deadline, but might be available off season that we might use to grab. So that's just where, that's what I'm thinking Trajan is thinking too. We can't just discount. Like, I don't think he just made this trade for no reason. He has a plan. But now I'm just wondering what the immediate plan is, because like Eric said, like we need something if the goal is to get to the championship or to even just get farther in the playoff this year, this trade just wasn't it. Like it wasn't anything, again, the Celtics upgraded with Vooch. We're just kind of stagnant with this. And it's just kind of like, okay, well, I guess if Herter pops off, he'll be helpful, but we don't even know if that's going to happen. So I guess my question for you guys is, again, we kind of have like a 17-man roster right now if we're including Jenkins in the signing. Who do you think is going to be taken out to narrow that down?
That's tough. Listen, I've been a big Bobby Klintman guy. You guys know for the last couple years. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I don't know. I thought we would have seen more from him at this point. I just want to see more dog from Bobby. I know he's very talented. I just don't see enough dog as of right now. Maybe that's where they look. Maybe that's where they start because he hasn't really got much opportunity since he's been here to really play meaningful time. That could be an option. But after that, it really gets tough. It really gets tough because we got a lot of good players on this team. What do you guys think? What do you think, E?
Yeah, I think I'm with you on Sarge for sure. I don't see any world where he actually is playing with this team. Outside of that, Trajan came into the season talking about this still being an evaluation period. I think at this point, the evaluating is over. I think you kind of have an idea of who is who and what fits where.
Yeah.
I think at this point, maybe they're possibly fishing for some other moves with maybe I don't know. I'm just spitballing for what they see based on what this team's landscape is. I wouldn't be surprised if they were possibly fishing out Sasser in deals. Like, it just wouldn't surprise me based on the growth that we've seen from Danish Jenkins, where Cade is, and just how they handle a lot of their ball handling, period, with the versatility that they have.
Right.
I think, we could possibly see some, moves with the G League guys as well. I think a lot of their evaluation period is kind of over at this point. And even like kind of going back to the question you had about the draft picks, like a lot of the direction that we're seeing with this team now is kind of becoming a lot more concrete. And if people are still getting excited about draft capital, like you're worried about the wrong thing. Like this is a championship team that has championship goals at this point. You have a player that's in MVP conversations. You have two guys that are in Defensive Player of the Year conversations. You have another guy that's in Most Improved conversations. Like it's a lot of things that are moving in a direction now that are past evaluation. So
that's true.
Trajan's got some big decisions to make, but I don't know. I just think it's kind of a little clear.
A quick question then to you, because you said you don't think they're done. Do you think? So when I say I don't think they're done, I think they're going to waive people. They have to. Do you think they're going to make another trade?
I wouldn't rule it out.
Okay.
I wouldn't rule it out at all. I think Herter's not a needle mover at all. I think he makes sense on paper. Again, I don't know in terms of, I got to do a little more digging and research on terms of what they can do with his contract and his availability. But I feel like looking at where this team is now, I don't think if this was strictly just if their primary goal was to cut bait with Ivy and just get him into a different position, then I guess all bets are off the table and maybe they're just waving. I feel like they could still move some pieces around or field some calls, because reports is they're getting calls. They're not making a lot, but they are getting calls of interest from other teams. So I think if the right move is there, I don't think Trajan is gonna knock everything down with we're good. I think we'll keep some options open. So I wouldn't rule out the possibility of some trades. I would keep expectations a little low on the names that could be acquired in them deals. Obviously, seen with Porter as a guy that they just acquired for. But, I wouldn't rule it out at all these next couple of days. I wouldn't.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious on that.
Even if we don't, I could still see us doing something major in the off. Not major, but big, significant in the offseason. We know other teams have taken some of their guys off the table until the offseason. Eric, right? So who knows? You could be looking at something a little bit different come off season, but as of right now, I just want to see what happens over the next 2 days, because I just want more sense to be made for me as far as to why this move was made, just so we can get the finality of what the moves are, and then we can kind of recalibrate at that point. So.
And I do want to say too, to some of the people that might not know this, that we do have the TPE. We only have like about half the TPE money left, but we do have that till July 7th. It's not that doesn't go away at trade deadline. True. That's something that we have for a while too. So if we don't use that up right now, it's not like we wasted it. Some people just don't even use theirs, and it's something that we could use in the off season. But I just wanted to mention that as well. So if you see that still not be used, we still technically have it until July 7th too. So
That's all I got, man. Y'all got anything else on that? I feel like we kind of covered all of our bases there for
I
sure.
just want to send love to everybody that was an Ivy fan because it was hard for me. I called my mom. I called my mom immediately. She was at work. She picked up. I was like, Ivy was traded. I'm gonna cry.
Man. Yeah, she's been into me for a good little minute. She was very much upset.
It's tough
earlier today about this.
It's tough.
So yeah,
I'm gonna miss him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, want to give a shout out to his father, Javen Hunter, who's a friend of the show, friend of Eric's, friend of ours.
Great man.
Really good dude. Want to give a shout out to Jaden's brother Jordan, who's on his way, same path, and of course Ji, man. You know that
his mother
his
as
mother,
well.
of course,
she showed up to LCA a lot this
year.
Yeah, for sure. And she's killing Notre Dame too. She's going crazy over there in Notre Dame for sure. So yeah, man. So you guys know that you have our support. Ji, go kill in Chicago for sure, man. So that's all we got, guys. So we will end it there. I want to give a major shout out to Eric Vincent again for pulling back up to the show. Vinny, make sure you guys go subscribe to him. Top Title Detroit on YouTube. I'm Eric Vincent on Instagram. It's a shame that I know all of your tags. Probably means I'm on your page way too much, but that's just because he's got good content. So y'all make sure y'all go check him out. You heard?
We locked in.
For sure. Go ahead, boss.
Boy, what's up? What's the upcoming schedule? Because I think we got the Knicks on a back again.
Oh man.
Okay, so look, the next game we got a tune-up fight. Next game we got the Wizards, right? So that's coming up next, and that'll be game 3 of the 4-game homestand. That's going to be this Thursday. Eric is going to be back in the building, guys, because he is like that.
Yes.
So we'll get a first look at Trae Young. Gonna get a first look at Trae Young, man. Ever since that CJ McCollum, Corey Kispert trade, it's gonna be interesting to see how he looks over there. Still weird seeing Trae Young in Washington, but
injured? I think he's still injured.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's played yet.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a good question.
No,
I haven't seen him.
Yet. No, the Knicks also played. The Knicks and Celtics both won tonight, so we still have the 5.5 lead. But the Knicks did play the Wizards tonight and destroyed them. So, but the Knicks, they got the Nuggets tomorrow and then us on Friday. I wouldn't want to be the Knicks either.
Yeah, that's a fact. Because all the teams at the top have been winning. You guys check the standings. Yeah. You see W3, W6, W7. Like these teams are on winning streaks right now. So it's important for the Pistons to keep on just winning, building good habits, and just you got a nice lead. So we want to make sure we maintain that as much as we can for sure. So all right, guys. With that, we are going to get out of here. Listen, we appreciate you guys for showing up and showing out as you guys always do, man. 200 deep still at 12:40 in the morning.
Guys.
Y'all some real ones. Y'all some real ones, bro. That's how y'all know y'all best community online, man, as far as the Pistons community. So we really appreciate you guys' support as always. Boss, you know what it is. You always show up and show out yourself. So, got to show you some love as well. Make sure you guys go and smash that like button and subscribe if you are new, man. And we hope everybody has a great night. And y'all know the drill, man. Detroit versus everybody. Peace.
Even I'll be on the wing, kick that footer ride. Electrifying through the air, a Detroit shot. And it doesn't really matter if you love him, like him, hate him. That boy is poison. It's in the street.